wandering again in Newport, Kentucky. Told authorities yesterday morning he escaped from two men who had been holding him hostage for about 7 years. Pitson disappeared nearly 8 years ago after his mother committed suicide in Rockford after a trip to the Wisconsin Dells. The kidnappers and boy had been apparently, according to Louisville FBI, been staying at a Red Roof Inn hotel before the teen ran across the bridge near Cincinnati and into Kentucky. We'll have the very latest on this developing story for you throughout the morning. Turning to other news today, Lori Lightfoot is preaching solidarity after being elected mayor of Chicago on Tuesday. Lightfoot and former rival Tony Preckwinkle came together for a unity event yesterday. Later, Lightfoot had meetings with outgoing Mayor Rahm Emanuel and Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson. Several Chicago aldermanic races are still undecided. Rosanna Rodriguez has a narrow but substantial lead over incumbent Deborah Mill in the 33rd Ward. On the north side, Alderman James Kappelman is leading in a tight race in the 46th Ward over Marianne Lalonde. Outgoing Chicago Alderman Ricardo Munoz is accused of swiping thousands of dollars from the City Council's Progressive Reform Caucus for his own personal use. Munoz, according to a Sun-Times report, spent nearly $37,000 on unauthorized expenses drawn from an account held by the caucus's Political Action Committee. The expenses include travel, restaurants, and money spent at a suburban lingerie and sex toy shop. For his part, Munoz says he'll try and pay the money back. Family and friends will gather later today to remember an Illinois state trooper who was killed this past weekend in Lake County. Visitation for Trooper Gerald Ellis will begin this afternoon at the College of Lake County's James Lumbers Center in Grays Lake. His funeral takes place at the same location tomorrow. A man convicted of stabbing his girlfriend to death in Glen Ellen more than 5 years ago is going to prison. Myron Easter was sentenced in DuPage County Court to natural life behind bars. A deadline is looming for Jesse Smollett to pay more than $130,000 to Chicago for investigative cost into what the city says was a staged, racist, and anti-gay attack, or he may get slapped with a civil lawsuit. Now, that's important because today is 7 days since Mayor Rahm Emanuel's law chief sent the actor a letter demanding the payment. The March 28 letter said he must pay within 7 days. Non-payment will prompt the city to sue Smollett. That civil trial has standards for proving he staged the incident much lower than a criminal court. Well, White Sox fans will have to wait an extra day for the home opener against the Mariners. Club moved the game from today to tomorrow because of the cruddy weather in the forecast. First pitch Friday now, scheduled for 1:10 p.m. Meantime, Carlos Rodon struck out 9 and allowed just one unearned run over 6 innings as the White Sox cruise past the Indians 8-3 in Cleveland. Sox skipper Rick Renteria.
For us, it's good to be able to kind of do that. Had some great at bats, a couple good days for a couple guys on our in our lineup, and hopefully we're building on it.
Yoan Moncada smacked a 2-run home run. If you're counting, he's hitting .450 on the young year and slugging .900. Yoan Camargo smacks a 3-run double in a 4-run 8th inning. Braves 6-4 comeback winners over the struggling Cubs in Atlanta. Jonathan Taves, the only goal in the shootout. Blackhawks 4-3 winners over the Blues as they play out the string here in Chicago. Walt Lemon Jr., remember that name. Sank a pair of free throws with 1.8 seconds left to give the Bulls a 115-114 win over the Wizards. Lemon Jr., an undrafted guard out of Julian High School and Bradley University, worked with the starting unit at Sunday's practice and worked his way into the starting lineup last night, won the game for the Bulls. The news, a service of Express Services Incorporated. You work hard, you know what it takes to succeed. Now it's time to put your experience to work and launch your business. For a limited time, Express Employment Professionals will give you $25,000 to open your franchise. Get to know Express Visit expressfranchising.com today. 5:08, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Respectfully, if you can pull your head out of your Trump love right now.
The Joe Walsh Show.
The President of the United States should not be attacking a dead man. There's just got to be a certain level of decency that we expect from our president. If you want Trump to win in 2020, this kind of crap is going to kill it.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5, right before Larry Elder at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with a Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-455-6143. That's 800-455-6143. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-455-6143.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is going to be here soon, and it's the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Keep your pet secure and safe with Boundary Plus technology, exclusively from Invisible Fence brand. Boundary Plus is the only dog fence that provides additional protection against escape. Save 50% on professional installation when you schedule your in-home quote today at InvisibleFence.com.
5:11, and a check on the roads this morning in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Allow plenty of following distance and time with the wet roadways. A couple of major crashes have led to closures in Des Plaines. Minor Street is blocked between Rand Road and Mason. It went down a light pole from a collision. Similar case in the south side, eastbound 55th is closed. Morgan to Holstead after a wreck at Peoria Street knocked down a light pole. The Edens Expressway is okay. Traffic's light. Kennedy 2 outbound roadwork is cleared. Well, it's now 20 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. The Eisenhower and the Stevenson look good for now. Same goes for the Ryan. There's some outbound work on the Ryan at 87th and outbound work on the Bishop Ford, Sibley to 159. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. You get the latest with our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
It'll be breezy today, clouds and cool, some occasional rain, a high 45. Rain this evening, otherwise cloudy tonight, low 40. Clouds tomorrow morning, some sun for the afternoon, milder day with a high at 60. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
45 at O'Hare, 43 along the lakefront, 47 this morning, and fog at Midway. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella, Sunday mornings starting at 8.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Gather around. We need to have a discussion about social norms. Apparently, they're ever evolving between men and women, and how you, if you're a man, greet a woman, particularly one that you don't know, interact with a woman that you don't know.
Or a small young lady.
Right.
Because I saw him yesterday pull somebody's a girl's hair, flipped it from one side to another. It was disgusting.
Well, there are new individuals who've come forward, women have come forward to share their Biden experience. But before all that, Joe Biden wants to have a conversation with the nation.
I call him the space invader, by the way, because he invades your space. Get it?
That's not bad.
Do you like it?
All right.
Thank you.
Well, here's the space invader addressing the nation about, how he's going to try to keep his love of other people in the tube a bit.
Folks, in the coming month, I expect to be talking to you about a whole lot of issues, and I'll always be direct with you. But today I want to talk about gestures of support and encouragement that I've made to women and some men that have made them uncomfortable. And I always tried to be, in my career, I've always tried to make a human connection. That's my responsibility, I think. I shake hands, I hug people, I grab men and women by the shoulders and say, you can do this. And whether they're women, men, young, old, it's the way I've always been. It's the way I've tried to show I care about them and I'm listening. And over the years, knowing what I've been through, the things that I've faced, I've found that scores, if not hundreds of people have come up to me and reached out for solace and comfort, something, anything that may help them get through the tragedy they're going through. And so it's just who I am. And I've never thought of politics as cold and antiseptic. I've always thought it about connecting with people. As I said, shaking hands, hands on the shoulder, a hug, encouragement. And now it's all about taking selfies together. Social norms have begun to change. They've shifted. And the boundaries of protecting personal space have been reset. And I get it. I hear what they're saying. I understand it.
No.
And I'll be much more mindful. That's my responsibility. And I'll meet it. But I'll always believe governing, quite frankly, life for that matter, is about connecting with people. That won't change, but I will be more mindful and respectful of people's personal space. And that's a good thing. I've worked my whole life to empower women. I've worked my whole life to prevent abuse. I've written, and so the idea that I can adjust to the fact that personal space is important, more important than it's ever been, is just not thinkable. I will.
I remember having to have the same conversation with my kindergarten teacher.
I know.
About personal space. Social norms. I love this idea. Hey, he's a little bit older. So he's just got caught up in this transition as we've moved away from the affectionate social norms that Joe Biden has lived under for most of his life. And now we're in this new era where
people take selfies. I mean, he brought that up,
Well, no, we're in this new era where Eskimo kissing strangers is no longer acceptable. When did that happen?
So gross.
Vale Yount.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I mean...
Who's that? Somebody from Vegas or Minnesota?
She's an intern.
Okay.
Was a White House intern in the spring of 2013. And again, here's another case where, hey, Biden's just sort of gotten caught with his pants down a little bit, not literally, thankfully, with the social norms changing. Mores can change that fast. 1 minute, it's fine to do what Joe Biden did when Miss Yount, an intern, spring of 2013, she's in the basement of the West Wing near the exit. She was asked to step aside so Biden could enter. Uh-oh. She moved out of the way. Biden approached her to introduce himself and shake her hand. Quote, he then put his hand on the back of my head and pressed his forehead to my forehead while he talked to me.
So he's a close talker.
No, he's not a close talker.
Space invader close talker.
He's a connected talker.
Oh, yeah.
Forehead to forehead. She's an adult, by the way. She's not a child. I was so shocked that it was hard to focus on what he was saying. I remember he told me I was a pretty girl. Now, that's way back in 2013. And so I don't know exactly when when it happened, when we became a culture that found it acceptable for men to take women by the back of their head, press their foreheads together to talk to them, and or Eskimo kiss to greet a stranger. When I mean,
Eskimo. I was thinking about that all day yesterday.
When did that happen?
Does that?
When did it become inappropriate to walk up behind a woman and start smelling her hair? I mean, where was I?
This whole video of Biden.
This whole thing is so absurd, and it's interesting because you even have some Republicans coming to Biden's defense, like your friend Steve King from Iowa.
He's defending him?
He said he's just an affectionate guy.
Has he gotten on any committees lately?
No, well.
Well, no, he is an affectionate guy, and all the ladies on The View say the same thing. And he lost his son, so he just feels that people who have had loss in their life should be hugged, should be touched. That's conjecture on my part. But other people haven't lost people in their lives, and he just wants to get close. He just wants to snuggle. Now, Nancy Pelosi, we talked about this yesterday, but here's her rule and her advice for Joe Biden.
I'm a member of the Straight Arm Club. I mean, I'm a straight armor. And all of this. Just pretend you have a cold and I have a cold.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's all well
but
and
a lot
good.
of people think he owes an apology, that 2-minute video that he put out on Twitter wasn't enough. That's not satisfying enough, that he should apologize for making women feel uncomfortable. Nothing was sexual, but yet it had a lingering effect on people where they were stunned into silence and other people went numb.
Well,
312-642-5600 is our Turnkey Depro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment.
Maybe I'm just cold, callous, dead inside. And so I don't appreciate Joe Biden's affectionate, gregarious nature. Maybe Joe Biden's right and I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe Joe Biden's right and we're all wrong.
Yes.
Theta Scopel, who is a Harvard political scientist, writes this. The piling on about Joe Biden's sometimes unwanted affectionate touches by political competitors and media outlets is shameful. Both women who have come forward so far, well, this is when it was 2, not now when it's up to 6 or 8.
And have any men come forward yet?
No, they're probably too ashamed.
Stop.
Could you imagine what would happen? Could you imagine what would happen if Joe Biden took the back of my head and tried to press our foreheads together to have a conversation with me and be arrested by Secret Service? Going back to Professor Scopel.
Yes, please.
Both women who've come forward so far, not talking about workplace abuse or sexual misconduct, I can believe them and still ask why they are speaking up now. And she goes on to what we would normally call victim blame, but okay. She adds, is this what gender equality really means? Is this the kind of society we want to live in where right-wingers can do any vicious thing they want to anyone and shrug it off, while people on the center left are supposed to expel from public life anyone who says a single word or who has done something benignly intended in the past that does not now fit with changed norms? That's not the kind of America I want to live in. Oh, boy. I'll tell you what, Professor Scopel, how thick is your bubble, honey bunny? I love expel anyone in public life who says a single wrong word or has done something benignly intended. And that's the entire campus culture that has subsumed American culture. What are you talking about? This is how much the left will change its positions to advance its interests. This is, they're just so bound up. I mean, they're wrapped in a spider web with this identity politics and statism that they just can't get out of it. When they want to rally to the defense of a fellow traveler like Biden and say this is innocent, they have all of these other examples in their permanent record that suggest otherwise. And it's always directed at right-wingers, and they're always flacking for left-wingers until you go full Harvey Weinstein. I mean, say a single wrong word, something benignly intended. Professor Scopel, let me introduce you to one of your fellow travelers in the D.C. press corps, Christiane Amanpour.
Of course, lock her up was a feature of the 2016 Trump campaign. Do you, in retrospect, wish that people like yourself, the head of the FBI, I mean, the people in charge of law and order, had shut down that language, that it would...
Shut down that...
Christian Amanpour talking to Jim Comey, asking, should you not allow people to say lock her up with respect to Hillary Clinton? Shut it down. The FBI shut it down.
Yeah, the campaign rallies where they'd yell lock her up.
You want to talk about social norms? How about legal norms? Maybe that's the conversation we should be having. Randy in Sandwich, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I think there's something that, we need to look at here. If what he's saying is true, and with all a big misunderstanding from everybody else except for him, then how come we don't see him do the same stuff to, like, men or boys?
A little boy, he does. When they're swearing in ceremonies, he would grab the shoulders of little kids and then pull them close to him. And you could tell by the look on their face they were uncomfortable. But it's mostly young girls, and you have to look at it, the video.
Thanks
top
for the
9
call, Randy.
Joe Biden creepiest moments.
Look, this is a guy who had an alfalfa field planted in his forehead. This is a guy who thinks he's Mr. Saturday Night. He's Scranton Joe. He's blue collar. He's Mr. Saturday Night Joe on the scene with the capped teeth and the alfalfa field.
Those
and he's
teeth
a good-looking,
are real, Dad.
He's a good-looking dude. He's all of those things and none of them. Patty on the Northwest Side. Oh.
I have a problem. I don't understand why these women are taking so long to come forth with this stuff. It's like the First Lady, Flores, I think her name was. It was the smelling of the hair, and she said she felt like at that moment that it was awkward. Okay, then why didn't she at that time? She never addressed it because she was benefiting from him being there because she was running for a lieutenant governor, and now all of a sudden, how many years later, now
5
it's a problem? And then another girl, he grabbed my leg, and then there was like another lady who said they were at a party and then her husband intervened and they all were laughing. So it's like, where does it start and where does it end? Should we now, should I be going back, the last 10, 12 years and start trying to get all the guys fired that did these actions to me that I didn't address at the time? I just have a problem with it. I don't want to, I don't know where it starts and where it ends because it seems like, a woman can just now, even when it's not like a guy winks at you. Okay, I took that offensively. Where are we going with this?
Well, that's a good question.
Thanks,
look
Patty.
at Harvey Weinstein. It started out 1, then 2, then 12, then 20. It just goes on and on.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
There's a difference.
Even if, there's a difference in terms of the conduct alleged, number one. But number two, even if women have ulterior motives, political, financial, or they've changed their view when they wanted something from Harvey Weinstein or wanted something from Joe Biden and now they don't, and so they're more comfortable coming forward. Even if all that's true, even if they don't come to the table with perfectly clean hands, it doesn't excuse the behavior of a Harvey Weinstein or a Joe Biden, as far as I'm concerned. So, it could be more complicated than it's being reported, white hats and black hats here. But ultimately, the conduct of the person in question has to be addressed. And that's why. So Blasey Ford against Kavanaugh. Oh, what about Blasey Ford against Kavanaugh? She can come forward at this late date. She's had other opportunities as he worked his way up the ladder in the judiciary. She had other chances. She chose not to take advantage of them. Supreme Court, she comes forward. She can come forward. Fine. And then we judge her on the substance of what she has to say, the credibility of it, and the same thing with Kavanaugh. Ulterior motives is part of the conversation, but it's not dispositive of the alleged conduct.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Critics are raving about the best of enemies. Taraji P. Henson and Sam Rockwell give magnificent performances.
You don't get my way. Well, I'm gonna get in your way.
The Christian Post calls it a perfect portrayal of how love can break through all barriers.
Same God made you, made me.
That serves as a masterful representation of healing and hope.
Don't you forget it.
The Best of Enemies, based on the untold true story. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. In theaters tomorrow.
Oh, it's raining out right now. Does that mean your basement's going to leak? If so, why don't you do something about it? Just take a few seconds and call the fine folks over there at Permaseal at 1-800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325. Or go to permaseal.net. For over 40 years, the Permaseal team believes your basement should be dry no matter how hard it rains. That's right. You can have a permanently dry basement. Just give them a call, 800-421-SEAL. They offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value. Roy Spencer started Permaseal back in 1979, and it's still a local Chicagoland family business doing the right thing and standing behind their work. You know who to call if you want a dry basement. Call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325, or go to permaseal.net.
Are you putting your retirement savings in a 401k, IRA, or investment account? Then I have one word of advice. Stop. Experts warn of a stock market crash any day now, and you could lose 50% or more of your hard-earned savings again. But you don't have to lose a penny. There's a better, safer way to save for retirement, and you can learn about it in a free report. This method continues to grow your money even when the market tumbles. To get this free report, go to bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com. Bankonyourself.com.
Maybe you've started getting outside more, playing some golf, doing some springtime yard work, and maybe you've noticed the next day that you're feeling a little more sore than you used to. Or maybe your energy level has been low. Well, you need to try Balance of Nature. You need your fruits and veggies, and you're not getting them in the fast food drive-through lane, are you? But you can get them in a single capsule from Balance of Nature. We're talking about 10 servings of 31 fruits and veggies, all in a single capsule. You've heard the testimonials. You continue to hear them here on AM 560, and they are real. I've met Dr. Douglas Howard and his wife and son. They're very passionate about their program. They showed me how they take the fruits and vegetables and condense them into a capsule without food dyes or preservatives, all natural. And right now, the price of fruits and veggies will be going up. So right now, we've got a great deal to tell you about. If you go online, you can lock in your price for the fruits and vegetables for an entire year and get free shipping on every order. But you have to use the promo code Chicago. So go to balanceofnature.com, promo code Chicago, balanceofnature.com, promo code Chicago, or call the operators, 800-246-8751.
Folks, when shopping for a home mortgage, how much is great service, low closing costs, and competitive interest rates worth to you? At Townstone Financial, it's priceless. Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
We have a 40-year-old daughter with metastatic stage 4 breast cancer, and the reason we needed to refinance is so we can help her. Zach said, yeah, we can do something, and believe me, he's my hero right now. He took enough money out to pay all my taxes, my insurances, everything is now escrowed. I love what he did, and didn't change any of the terms that he said to begin with. Your competitor was like a bad car salesman. Phenomenal job, Zach.
Remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. I guarantee it, and I own the company. So call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida. NMLS 136639. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender.
AM 560.
The Answer. Can't touch this.
Just a tweet from Jay-Z. As we listen to Hammer. Not that Jay-Z. In every employee handbook across the country, Biden's actions are textbook sexual harassment. Videos of Biden could be used at employee orientation as actions unacceptable in a work environment. I mean, that's the whole thing. The enigmatic social norms. I can't figure it out.
I don't know what to do.
Ridiculous.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The Unity Breakfast, Lori and Tony and Jesse, and we're all one big happy family in love in Chicago at 5:38.
But first, let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
44 degrees, some rain and fog in the area, and DNA testing being done today. Conducted to determine whether a boy found in Newport, Kentucky, is a suburban Aurora boy who went missing in 2011 before escaping kidnappers in Ohio years later. The 14-year-old was picked up yesterday after asking passerbyers for help. Federal and local investigators in and around Cincinnati say the teen claims to be Timothy Pitson, who vanished years ago.
Well, maybe this time we've found him, or maybe this time we have salient information, only to be disappointed and to be let down. So we have to be so judicious when we investigate these tips to make sure that we don't give any sense of, any false sense of hope.
Sergeant Bill Rowley is with the Aurora Police Department and says the family has been through this before, so they're being very careful. kidnappers and the boy, apparently, according to the Louisville FBI, staying at a Red Roof Inn before the teen ran across a bridge near Cincinnati and into Kentucky. The first official report on the deadly Ethiopian Airlines crash says pilots repeatedly followed procedures recommended by Boeing. Ethiopia's transport minister telling reporters this morning the crew performed all procedures provided by Boeing, but were still unable to control that 737 MAX jetliner. Virginia Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax says he does want an investigation into these sexual assault allegations 2 women have made against them.
I did not assault Vanessa Tyson. I did not assault Meredith Watson. I look forward to clearing my good name.
He will cooperate fully, he says, with prosecutors in Boston and Durham, North Carolina. Former VP Joe Biden speaking out about his accusations of inappropriate behavior.
I hear what they're saying. I understand it. And I'll be much more mindful. That's my responsibility. And I'll meet it.
Several women have accused Biden of unwelcome conduct in years past. The accused New Zealand mosque shooter will be charged with 50 counts of murder. Police announcing new charges against Brenton Tarrant as he prepares to appear in court on Friday. Congressman Tim Ryan preparing to add his name to the long list of those who want to run for president in 2020. BuzzFeed reporting the Ohio Democrat will announce his candidacy for his party's nomination as early as today, ahead of a weekend rally in Youngstown, Ohio. Lori Lightfoot preaching solidarity after being elected mayor of Chicago on Tuesday and meeting with the Reverend Jesse Jackson and defeated rival Tony Preckwinkle. And family and friends are gathering later today to remember an Illinois state trooper killed this past weekend in Lake County. Visitation for Trooper Gerald Ellis will take place this afternoon at the College of Lake County. Chicago sports, White Sox over the Indians 8-3. Struggling Cubs fall to the Braves again 6-4. Blackhawks over the Blues, and the Bulls beat the Wizards. 5:35. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder just wants the media to be honest.
His fellow Republicans to think seriously about the president's mental condition and psychological state.
This is news. Some are saying the president's mental stability is in question. Some who? You wonder why people think it's fake news? Because it is. Some people are questioning the president's mental stability. Who? Name names.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Planning out every step of a construction project, whether it's pumping concrete for your new basement or a high-rise on Wacker Drive, can be stressful, and cost is as important as the ability to place the concrete quickly. You need a trusted company like Anderson Concrete Pumping. Using their state-of-the-art pumps and conveyors, Anderson Concrete Pumping can help you with the smallest footprint. They work fast and can pour with a day's notice. Not only will you save time, but also money. Anderson is the woman-owned concrete pumping company in the Midwest and a trusted conforms dealer. You know they do great work because you've seen it at Soldier Field, Wrigley Field, and McCormick Place. Anderson Concrete Pumping is the best choice for a job of any size. That's Anderson with an E. Visit AndersonPump.com to see a variety of working drawings and to schedule an on-site recommendation, or call 708-333-4433 for a free recommendation. That's 708-333-4433. Anderson with an E. Experience excellence.
Napa know-how.
It's Love Your Car Month at Napa. And to show your car the love, get a Napa bucket for $2.99 and save 20% on almost everything you can fit inside, like car wash, car wax, and tire shine. So save some cash and look good doing it by getting 20% off with the Napa bucket. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores, exclusions apply. Minimum 3 items may not be combined with other offers. Offer ends 4/30/19.
Liberty Mutual Insurance knows you're focusing on the road right now, so we'll just describe our newspaper print ad to you. It's a tiny square that's colored a newspaper shade of gray that has you thinking yellow. As the words read, Liberty Mutual customizes your insurance so you only pay for what you need. Now that's the kind of print ad that'll make you glad you still read newspapers.
Go to libertymutual.com for a customized quote and you could save.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Liberty. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Equal housing insurer.
5:38, a check on the roads in the AM 560 traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
On Chicago's south side, 55th Street remains closed eastbound from Morgan to Holstead after a wreck took down a light pole at 55th and Peoria. There are wires down as well. In Des Plaines, Minor is blocked between Rand Road and Mason after a crash. The downed pole there as well. The Edens is wet, but otherwise okay. Same goes for Kennedy. Eisenhower still looking good. Inbound Stevenson has slow pockets from Cicero to Kedzie and Damon to the Ryan. 38 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. On Ryan has a 2-minute delay from Roosevelt to downtown. Bishop Ford, about a 3 or 4 minute delay from Stony Island Feeder to the Ryan. Outbound there's work, Sibley to 159th in the left lane. Tollways are okay. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Cloudy, breezy, cooler. We'll have occasional rain and a high of 45. We're at 45 right now. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by AM Woodland Outdoor Design, now accepting maintenance clients. amwoodland.com.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, Lori Lightfoot is enjoying the first couple of days of her honeymoon as she plots her first 100 days of governance. And that honeymoon includes a very nice piece by one John Cass in the Chicago Tribune, talking about Lori Lightfoot making history not as the triple threat, black, female, lesbian, that the D.C. Press Corps, the Chicago Press Corps obsesses about, but making history as a former federal prosecutor who's the mayor of Chicago, in which I think Cass imbues some hope for the city that she'll rattle some cages and hold some people to account and do what she can to change the kleptocratic culture in City Hall. I'm a bit more skeptical than I think John is, but okay. She does have that in her background. Is that possible? It's possible. She doesn't strike me as somebody who's personally corrupt.
No.
There's not been much evidence to support that claim. So,
I'm going to stand behind her and hope for the best. I mean, it's change. We don't know if it's the right change, but it's, the people of this city spoke. If she won all 50 wards. She even won Tony Preckwinkle's ward. So obviously there's an appetite there for change.
Right. Oh, I understand that, but is it just more Rorschach ink blotting? I'm going to see Lori Lightfoot for what I want her to be rather than what she is. We do that all the time in this city and state.
Well, somebody asked her yesterday about Superintendent Eddie Johnson. Is he going to be staying? Is he going to keep his position? And she said, I'm going to meet with him and see how things are done. I mean, she didn't come out and say, I'm getting rid of all of them. She seems like a reasonable person. She's going to, see what their plan of attack is. Of course, wanted to hire more police officers, as she said on the campaign trail.
Look, I'm going to indulge the hopeful notes this week. You get 72 hours, and then I go back to being a cynic.
Well, it's still sinking in.
Still a little surreal, but good.
Yeah.
Lori Lightfoot made herself into a federal prosecutor with her will and smarts and the contents of her character. A Fed as mayor of Chicago. Inconceivable a few years ago. Great Wally Shawn. Inconceivable. Now it's necessary. Good luck, Mayor Lightfoot. Mayor Lightfoot. Chicago needs you now, writes John Cass. Okay. All right. We'll see. You got to give people a chance to demonstrate who they're going to be when they're elected to a particular position. And so we're going to see in short order. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. A related note, and this is something that will have to be taken up by Lori Lightfoot, given the invoice that the outgoing mayor has sent Jussie Smollett. Did you see this? The 3 suburban police chiefs associations in Cook County, no confidence vote in Kim Foxx. North suburban chiefs, West suburban chiefs, South suburban chiefs all took no confidence stance against Kim Foxx, but because of her handling of the Jussie Smollett hate crime hoax.
Well, that's why I don't want her to get rid of Superintendent Johnson. I mean, he rose through the ranks. He's done his time in the police department. But also the way he handled the Jussie Smollett case was his finest hour. And it came great coming from an African-American male, what he was saying. He really drilled it home and made Chicago look good after such a, Jussie Smollett tried to besmirch our reputation.
Well, the disgraceful conduct of the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, and I don't mean that for rank and file, this qualifier we always have to say, and we're talking about big agencies. I'm talking about Kim Foxx. Yeah. That disgraceful performance, the broken trust between prosecutors and police, we'll see what the relationship is going to be in the early days between police and Mayor Lightfoot. That's going to be on her plate. That's going to be a main course. Something else she's going to have to deal with, and we'll see if she indulges this burgeoning caucus, the Socialist Caucus. They can call them whatever they want, Justice Democrats, whatever patina you want to slap on it. They're socialists. Making national news, not just of electing the first black female mayor of Chicago. That's making national news, international news. So is this. This is on Fox News. Democrat socialists pick up a slew of seats on Chicago City Council. Right? That's who took out Patrick O'Connor. That's who looks to have taken out Deb Mell. That's pending.
Yeah, they said they're going to have to wait till all the absentee ballots are counted, and that'll be the middle of April. So we'll know.
Byron Sigcho Lopez and Andre Vasquez, who took out O'Connor. Daniel Espada, who took on Proco Joe. Carlos Ramirez Rosa, who was an incumbent. By the way, speaking of Proco Joe.
Where's his false police report?
Exactly.
Charge?
What is the state of that investigation?
Well, I talked to someone in the Cook County State's Attorney's Office who said, point blank to my face, Kim Foxx is afraid to touch that one because we have the Jussie Smollett
what else
going
is new?
on right now. I know, but they know that he filed a false police report, and they're just letting him walk around as if he's the one who should pay restitution to the police department because 6 detectives pulled her over.
Lori Lightfoot.
So people are on that case.
Lori Lightfoot has a bully pulpit now, just as Tiny Dancer did, and the same step stool, so people can see her, just like they had to, just like Tiny Dancer needed to use so people could see him. You want to send a signal that you're willing to hold people in power accountable. You're willing not to just cater to the feudal lords for city council peace, so they'll bend to your will with whatever you want to do, be the trained SEALs they've normally been. Then make it a private point that you'll make it a public point if Proco Joe's investigation is not concluded and announced, the results announced, and if there is evidence to suggest that he filed a false police report, then charges filed. I want to know what is going to happen in that Proco Joe case as much as Smollett.
Open investigation.
Yeah, well,
I know. Well, they didn't close it and just hide it from us.
Well, there's nothing happening, and it shouldn't take this long. Even if he doesn't have 25 detectives on the case like Smollett did.
He had 6. But still, that's a lot because people were looking for the alderman's stolen Audi. And then they finally found it. All these officers swooped in and, made her life HE double hockey sticks for about 6 hours when she was thrown in jail, wondering what's going on. He gave me his car.
We're not forgetting about Proco Joe.
Never.
And just because he's out of office doesn't mean he's absolved of his crimes. Alleged crimes. And it's, by the way, it's not just that filing a false police report. There's a federal civil rights lawsuit against him for what we saw on video, him extorting a building owner in his ward. That's also something that should fall under law enforcement scrutiny locally.
And every time he always says, end of conversation, end of conversation.
It may be the end of his political career, but it's not the end of the conversation. John in Bridgeport.
Amy, can you please report it correctly, okay, and not use the platitudes? Yeah, the people spoke. 69% didn't care. Right? 69% spoke, saying, what's the point? There's no point in voting. Thanks.
All right, thanks for the call, John. But to be fair, the fatalism that leads to inaction is also a form of expression, isn't it?
I voted for you for city treasurer.
Missed it by
Have
that
you
much.
delivered your concession speech yet, Dan?
I'm waiting for the mail-in ballots.
Okay.
Mike on the north side.
Excuse me. Good morning. How are you?
Good.
I hope you'll all be happy to know that, again, I defeated El Gallido's daughter for alderman. She's on her way out of town. She got embarrassed again, at least in my precinct.
All right.
All the people they put against me, they couldn't beat me. The big gringo beat them. Amy,
so that means
off,
you got a lot of new garbage cans to deliver this week, I presume.
Yeah, I'm baking pumpkin pies and delivering them. I'm babysitting kids. I'm washing cars.
There you go.
I'm taking people shopping.
There's a ward healer if I ever heard one. All right, thanks, Mike. Go ahead. Continue.
Well, I wanted to say, Amy, this police superintendent's done a terrible job. Remember, he was the one that passed on Van Dyke and said it was a decent shoot. And every other supervisor who said it was forced to retire, but he got to stay. And forget about Proco Joe. That's low-hanging fruit. Once again, Kim Foxx has killed somebody. It was revealed yesterday that the last state trooper that was hit and killed was killed by a drunk driver who Kim Foxx has passed on 70 times. 70 times he got caught driving without a license. He had 2 DUIs. He never got jail time. Kim Foxx just didn't prosecute. Let it go. No jail time. Now here's the second police officer in a week that's been killed because Kim Foxx's office did not put a habitual criminal in prison. That's what people should be talking about. Not that goofy Proco Joe. Not all this other.
We can talk about both.
Swishy. Well, you could, but nobody cares about the police officers that are being killed.
Well, that's not true. Thanks for the call, Mike. That's just not true. And we made mention of it in context of Smollett, which we've covered, as you know, extensively over the last several weeks. So we made mention, particularly with Rivera, particularly because that the guy who allegedly shot him was convicted of an armed home invasion that was pled down so that he got probation rather than being in prison. And we had this very conversation on this show with FOP President Kevin Graham about that. John in Palatine, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Hey, Dan, I just want to check in and find out if the word besmirch is on your magnet.
I'll have to check the magnet, but we can always, issue a second edition. Anyway, go ahead.
My question is, because Amy's using that word a lot lately, and that would make her, she would have 2 words then.
Amy's, right.
What's my first word? I can't remember. Do you remember, John?
Dermatological.
Oh, dermatological.
Oh.
And then besmirched.
Thanks for the call, John.
Thanks.
We're going to have competing words with the co-hosts here shortly. Craig in Mount Greenwood. Hey, Craig.
Hello.
Yep, you're on.
Oh, hey, Dan. Thank you. So I went out and voted. I had my wife go out and vote, and the reason is because I believe that Lori Lightfoot is to the Democrat establishment same thing or close to what Trump is to the Republican establishment. And she's a big question mark to them, too, because she's a leftist, but the corruption part and going along with all their real deep corrupt shenanigans, that's a question mark if she's going to go with all that. What do you think?
Yeah, thanks for the call, Craig. I think you give her the benefit of the doubt, but I think it's a question mark. I don't know the answer, but the answer is going to reveal itself very soon because there are opportunities pending, much less all that will come during her tenure. And it's going to come fast and furious at her because of where the city finds itself across every quality of life measure. So we're going to find out. I mean, again, you get this week. You get sworn in a few weeks, and then you better hit the ground running. And big ideas much bigger than a hotel tax to fund artist communes. I'm hoping for from Lori. We'll see.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Their boots are always dirty because at First Choice Equipment, they work alongside their customers to help find innovative solutions to their equipment needs. First Choice Equipment is a trusted family-owned full-service construction equipment dealer that provides skid steers, excavators, track loaders, and wheel loaders to contractors throughout northern Illinois and southeast Wisconsin. They sell, rent, and service Kubota and Mustang construction equipment. Kubota is proud to serve the world's #1 selling compact excavator, and in 2018, the Kubota SVL track loader was awarded awarded the highest retained value award by Equipment Watch. At First Choice Equipment, they work alongside construction professionals who put their work boots on every day. Visit their website at firstchoiceequipment.com to view all of the Kubota and Mustang products, or call 855-510-6050. That's 855-510-6050. First Choice Equipment. They're not just building your neighborhood, they're also part of your neighborhood.
So I'm golfing with a few buddies yesterday, and yes, I have friends. I know what you're thinking.
Isn't that Rent-A-Friend? But okay.
No. They weren't just like three guys that I was thrown with as a one. Mm-hmm. No, they're actual people I knew. And they said, like, the stuff you hawk on your show, are you really behind that stuff? I said, yes, I am. Northridge Prep really educates young men and does a great job. Tige Hanley, the skincare company that I've gotten connected with, and I'm now using their products, it actually is.
It works.
Yeah, it works. It's good. I wish I would have done it earlier.
And it's good sunscreen, too, even if it's cold out and the sun's out, to protect your skin.
It's simple. It's affordable. It's effective. You get all the products you need for your daily skincare regimen shipped directly to you. You don't have to go to a store. No hidden fees or inflated costs. They've got 3 skincare systems. Each include the wash, scrub, and moisturizers with SPF 20, as Amy was saying, to protect your skin, the outdoors, when you're playing golf or at the gun range or wherever. And you can even up your routine to include eye cream and super serum, both for fighting the signs of aging, as some of us are doing. Not Amy, but some of us are.
Right.
Right now, go to Tige.com/DanProf. Use the promo code Dan20, Dan the number 20. You check out for 20% off your first box. That's Tige, TIEGE.com/DanProf, and use the promo code Dan20.
Napa know-how.
It's Love Your Car Month at Napa. And to show your car the love, get a Napa bucket for $2.99 and save 20% on almost everything you can fit inside, like car wash, car wax, and tire shine. So save some cash and look good doing it by getting 20% off with the Napa bucket. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores, exclusions apply. Minimum 3 items may not be combined with other offers. Offer ends 4/30/19.
Liberty Mutual Insurance knows you're focusing on the road right now, so we'll just describe our newspaper print ad to you. It's a tiny square that's colored a newspaper shade of gray that has you thinking yellow. As the words read, Liberty Mutual customizes your insurance so you only pay for what you need. Now that's the kind of print ad that'll make you glad you still read newspapers.
Go to libertymutual.com for a customized quote and you could save.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Equal housing insurer.
Hey, it's tax season again, and April 15th deadline right around the corner. And if you haven't filed your tax returns the past few years or several years, or maybe you're just in debt to the IRS and don't know what to do or who to turn to, we want you to write this number down, the name and number. Attorney Stephen Leahy, his phone number 312-664-6649. Stephen will help you. Stephen's a friend of mine and a friend of AM 560 and host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard every Sunday afternoon at 5. You can trust Attorney Leahy to help solve your IRS problems. He's local right here in Chicago, available to meet with you one-on-one. And if you fear the IRS will take your money, bank account, wages, visit you at home or job, and now they can even take your passport, well, then you need to call the trusted attorney of AM 560, Attorney Stephen Leahy. Call 312-664-6649. Attorney Leahy will solve your IRS problems for good. 312-664-6649 or visit ChicagoTaxTeam.com. That's ChicagoTaxTeam.com.
Hey guys, Ken here from the award-winning podcast Today's Growth. If you had to choose sides, which camp would you rather be in? Would you rather have time and no money, or money and no time? Did you know that 95% of U.S. adults by choice have settled into these categories? Much more interesting is that 1 out of 20 people have built their life around achieving simultaneous control of both time and money. What choices did these 5% make that the others didn't? My friends at Income Store have shown both households and businesses how to build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams for the express purpose of gaining control of time. When it comes to helping folks create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is going to be here soon, and it's the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
New idea to address the humanitarian and security crises at the border. The Democrat Socialists have come up with it. Decriminalize illegal immigration.
Oh.
See? There you go. Problem solved. We'll discuss it at 6:06.
And President Trump backing off, possibly closing down the border. And could it be a miracle? Timothy Pitson may have been found in Kentucky. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Alderman Ricardo Munoz in hot water again. We'll tell you why. Lightfoot and Preckwinkle come together after an election. Police are investigating, along with the FBI, if a teen found in Kentucky is a missing Aurora boy. A funeral today for a state trooper in Lake County. White Sox home opener is moved to Friday. Hang on to those tickets. Blackhawks and top the Blues in a shootout, and the Bulls edge the Wizards. WINT Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Tension between the Attorney General and the Special Counsel's Office. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Some of Robert Mueller's investigators reportedly believe Bill Barr's summary of the report did not adequately portray the findings. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
The New York Times reports that according to those lawyers, Mr. Mueller's report was far more troubling for President Trump than Attorney General Barr indicated. Rudy Giuliani is the president's personal lawyer.
They're a bunch of sneaky, unethical leakers. And they are rabid Democrats who hate the President of the United States. And I can't tell you how much false information they leaked during the course of the investigation.
Barr has said he will release the nearly 400-page report by mid-April, but needs time to redact confidential information. Dave?
Well, John, yesterday, Democrats in the House Judiciary Committee voted to subpoena the Attorney General to get the full report, wanting to see all the evidence. The chairman of another House committee is citing a law and requesting the IRS hand over President Trump's personal and business tax returns for the last 6 years. The president says he won't turn them over while he's under audit.
I've been under audit for many years because the numbers are big, and I guess when you have a name, you're audited.
Former Vice President Biden has 3 more accusers, claiming he inappropriately touched them, not sexually, but making them uncomfortable. DJ Hill, one of the now 7 women.
I would like to think that perhaps this is a time of realization and self-awareness for Mr. Biden.
He put out a video.
I will be more mindful and respectful of people's personal space.
Ethiopia's transport minister says investigators probing last month's deadly plane crash have found the pilots followed procedures to cut off anti-stall software but could not control the plane.
It is recommended that the aircraft flight control system related to the flight controllability shall be reviewed by the manufacturer.
Boeing says it'll study the report when it comes out. This is Fox News.
Light rain showers, cloudy skies, and a bit of light fog beginning to cross the area at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. DNA testing is being done this morning, conducted to determine whether a boy in Newport, Kentucky, is actually a suburban Aurora boy who went missing in 2011. The 14-year-old escaped kidnappers and was picked up yesterday after asking passers-by for help. Sergeant Bill Rowley is with the Aurora Police Department.
Well, maybe this time we've found him, or maybe this time we have salient information, only to be disappointed and to be let down. So we have to be so judicious when we investigate these tips to make sure that we don't give any sense of any false sense of hope.
Rowley says they're being very careful with the family. The teen identified himself as Timothy Pitson, who disappeared nearly 8 years ago after his mother apparently committed suicide in Rockford after a trip to the Wisconsin Dells. Lori Lightfoot is preaching solidarity after being elected mayor of Chicago on Tuesday.
We're not going to always agree on every issue, but I think if we open up government, put people first, and come together in a spirit of cooperation, we're going to go a long way in bringing folks together.
Lightfoot later had meetings with outgoing Mayor Rahm Emanuel and Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson. Outgoing Chicago Alderman Ricardo Munoz accused of taking thousands of dollars from the City Council's Progressive Reform Caucus. $37,000 worth of expenses include travel, restaurants, and money spent at a suburban lingerie shop. Striking Chicago's Symphony Orchestra musicians are expected to return to the bargaining table on Friday. The walkout has been going on for about 3 weeks, and a deadline looming for Jesse Smollett to pay more than $130,000 to the city of Chicago for investigative costs into what the city say was a faked, racist, and anti-gay attack. Smollett risks getting slapped with a civil lawsuit. Carlos Rodon was on fire yesterday as the White Sox beat the Indians in Cleveland 8-3. Yoan Moncada smacked a 2-run home run. He's hitting .450 on the young season. Braves beat the Cubs 6-4. Blackhawks winners over the Blues. Walt Lemon Jr., Julian High School grad, Bradley University graduate, helped the Bulls beat the Wizards last night, 115-114. He sank a pair of free throws with 1.8 seconds left. The news, a service of Dairy Queen. Your favorite chicken strips just got a sweet BFF. Introducing the new DQ Chicken and Waffles basket, a next-level combo of chicken strips, Belgian waffle fries, and syrup. Only at your DQ, happy tastes better. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Do you own or run a thriving business in the Chicagoland area? Have you overcome obstacles to make your business what it is today? If that's your business, then AM 560 wants to tell your story on the AM 560 Business Tour, presented by Signature Bank. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson will be broadcasting live from businesses all around Chicagoland, telling success stories of thriving, successful businesses. Hey, if that's you, tell us about it. Visit 560theanswer.com/business and submit your information. That's 560theanswer.com/business.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I shopped the many highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $27 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-597-0315. That's 800-597-0315. 800-597-0315. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
When you need heavy equipment to complete challenging projects such as site preparation, utility and sewer, material handling, agricultural, recycling, or commercial snow removal, you just can't beat the price, power, and performance of Hyundai construction equipment from Harding's Heavy Equipment. The Harding family offers sincere individual customer service for heavy equipment to rent or purchase since 1916. Plus, they deliver right to your job site and have trained technicians to take care of the maintenance requirements of all your equipment. Harding's Heavy Equipment is in the business of building relationships with their customers. That's what it's all about. A community business with top quality individual attention and service for over 100 years. When your project needs the reliability and power of Hyundai equipment, work with a true business partner that will be with you after the sale. Call Harding's Heavy Equipment for information and price specials on the Hyundai 5x5 and Edge lease programs. Available for a limited time. Call 219-696-8911 or online at hardingsinc.com.
Payroll, bookkeeping, month end. Are you feeling short-staffed? Accountemps can provide accounting and finance professionals on a temporary or project basis when you need them to help with increased workloads. Call them today or visit AccountTemps.com. AccountTemps, a Robert Half company.
It is 6:07. Let's get an update on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Kennedy inbound traffic is slow. Cumberland to Montrose. It's 26 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. How about 25? Heavy Irving Park to Montrose. Crash on the right shoulder. And Nagel to Harlem. Edens is okay. Inbound Eisenhower. Like Mannheim to Austin. And California to the Burn Circle. 35 minutes. 390 to downtown. How about 29? Stevenson 46 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 18 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop 425. Northbound Tri-State is a little heavy now from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Eastbound Reagan Tollway there's delay from Tri-State to Roosevelt. The other tollways are okay. No delays to report in northwest Indiana. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, cloudy, breezy, and cooler with occasional rain, the high 45. A bit of rain this evening, otherwise cloudy tonight, low 40. Clouds tomorrow morning, a milder day, some sun for the afternoon. High tomorrow, 60. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
45 at O'Hare, light rain showers. Your next news update is at 6:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Trump is looking for a re-election campaign slogan while Democrat socialists in the House are looking for his tax returns. Trump on the stump, spitballing.
We're going to have a great election. The question is, do I go with Make America Great Again, or do I go with Keep America Great? They were saying it's probably the greatest theme in the history of politics. I think it is. Make America Great Again, MAGA. How do you give that up for a new one? CAG. Keep America Great. CAG. I don't know. Maybe it catches on. You never know.
CAG.
I don't know. 312-642-5600. Turnkey.pro answer line. 64636. Type in DA, then a quick question. What do one? I think you should just stick with MAGA.
If you're Make America Great Again, you've been president for 4 years. I think maybe you just throw a K in front of it because it still needs to be present, right? Keep America Great means it's already good. Keep making America great again.
Okay.
Kamaga.
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 It's like Shazam.
Yeah. And the K, you just add you keep your MAGA hats. You can almost just put the, like with electrical tape.
It's got to be red, though, in
something.
honor of the Ascendario brothers. They got to keep the red hat. Don't
Sure.
change colors, okay?
All right, so we'll take some suggestions. We'll send your suggestions off to the White House as they're spitballing the re-election slogan. And, of course, it's got to be an acronym because everything's acronyms these days.
Yeah.
MAGA, AOC, the Mexican president, he's an acronym.
Right. What's his acronym?
AMLO.
AMLO?
Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. AMLO. It's
we're
better than
going to be interviewing him when we're in Puerto Vallarta, I'm sure.
It's better than having to say Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador every time you talk about the Mexican president. AMLO is easier. It's all acronyms these days. You got to have an acronym if you want to be au courant in 21st century America.
AMY. Amy.
That's not an acronym.
Amazing Mothers Youthfulness.
Okay, we'll also take your calls to spitball Amy's acronym.
What should your acronym be, Dan?
No.
Daring, active.
Oh, gosh. All right. No, we're completely off the rails.
Right,
Can we get back to AMLO and the border?
AMLO.
So he is part of the conversation, and the Mexican president, against the backdrop of President Trump openly ruminating about closing down the southern border if Mexico doesn't get serious, Mexico and the Mexican president's socialist comrades in the House of Representatives don't get serious. Here is what Obrador said at a recent speech.
On Monday, Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador said his administration would help regulate Central American migrants passing through Mexican territory to the United States.
I was asked to be prudent, and I think that's the best thing. To have a policy of friendship with the U.S. government, a relationship of good neighbors with the U.S. government, and to act with a lot of caution, to not get hooked in a confrontation in a row.
Claro. Tenemos que ayudar.
Of course, we have to help because Central American migrants pass through our territory, and we have to bring order to that migration so that it's legal, and at the same time for human rights to be protected. So that's where we are at. But let's stay calm. The thing is, we would enter into this dynamic, and I prefer love and peace. Of course, I take it seriously that we should act with caution.
Okay. Well, that's a very hopeful, constructive note, isn't it? He's a politician. That needs translation. So, Umberto Beck. Umberto's a fun name.
Umberto.
When I took Spanish class, my name was just Danielle.
Right. Sounds kind of girlyish.
I should have gone with Umberto. I like that name. Umberto, yeah. Umberto, so ridiculous.
Umberto.
Just ridiculous.
All right.
We don't do that. I mean, this is like a Family Guy skit. We don't do that with any other country other than Mexico. Like you're, on.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Yeah.
Rito.
Like you're at.
Go
co-host Sábado Gigante if you want to do that, okay? All right.
Just get ready for Mexico.
Umberto Beck is a professor at the College of Mexico. He was on Democracy Now! ! And he had this to say about what Obrador is really saying.
Well, I think López Obrador doesn't want to confront Trump openly, but he's trying to create some bridges of cooperation with other aspects, other dimensions of the U.S. government. For example, he had a meeting recently with a U.S. congressman about the possibility of creating some kind of inversion program in southern Mexico and Central America. I think that's what he wants to do because he's not really trying to stop the flow of migrants. Because he knows, even though he doesn't want to acknowledge it openly, because he wants to avoid this confrontation with Trump, he knows that sending back migrants to Central America is sending back these people to an unlivable situation because of violence. So I think that what he wants to do is just not to confront Trump openly, try to work in some kind of cooperation program with the U.S. and try to create what could be, if it is ambitious enough, some kind of Marshall or new Marshall program, but Southern Mexico and Central America.
There it is. There's the truth. You heard what Obrador said. That's the translation of what Obrador meant and what he's actually doing behind the scenes. Not trying to stop the flow of Central American migrants and working with Democrat members of Congress for more cash as President Trump is moving to cut foreign aid to Northern Triangle countries, Central American countries that from where most of these migrants are originating, and Mexico. So they want, it's always a Marshall Plan. It's always Democrats, socialists. Everything is the Marshall Plan. More government spend. It's a Marshall Plan for the south and west sides of Chicago. It's a Marshall Plan for southern Mexico and Central America. And oh, by the way, just like AMLO isn't going to stop Central American migrants, neither are Democrat socialist presidential candidates. Julian Castro.
Ugh, he looks like an alien.
Julian Castro on with Maddow. He's got an idea about how to handle the illegal border crossings. Stop making them illegal.
I'm not buying into the BS that basically says that little children and mothers who are desperate and fleeing desperate circumstances are a national security threat to our nation. I said that we should decriminalize people who are coming here, crossing the border.
Currently, under Section...
Yeah, and so decriminalize. So that's the two-pronged Democrat-socialist approach. Decriminalize illegal border crossings. You got something that's illegal, the way to deal with it, make it legal. And export U.S. tax dollars to southern Mexico and Central America work around. Of course, no, we don't want to give them to corrupt governments, so we'll give them to NGOs and community organizers, the Central American Barack Obamas of the world, who will at some point in the indeterminate future reduce the violence and deathly poverty in those countries such that they'll stop wanting to come to America for a better life. What do you think about that idea? Buying that? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro
Somebody might
text
want to
line.
tell President Trump about this interview with Umberto Beck because he seems to be easing on his proposed plan to shut down the border.
Mexico, I said I'm closing, and I really wanted to close it. But now Mexico's saying, no, first time in decades. We will not let anybody get through. And they've apprehended over 1,000 people today at the southern border, their southern border. And they're bringing them back into the country. I said, why the hell didn't somebody do that in the first place? But they don't want the border closed. And you know who else doesn't want the border closed? The Democrats. They don't want the border closed.
That's right.
And I agree, it's going to be a big toll. But trade and commerce and making money for our country, it's all very important. But to me, the most important job I have is the security of our country, even more important than those other things that I talk about.
And he's not backing off that at all, at least as a rhetorical position. And it's interesting to note that he totally gets it. He understands that Mexico pulling back 1,000 migrants and providing, their one-year visas to stay in Mexico, that's just a show of good faith. It's actually a misdirection play that indicates bad faith, because he just indicated he understands what both AMLO and his comrades in the Democratic Socialist House caucus are doing. Bill in the north suburbs, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning. There's no reason to get rid of a good hat.
Sure.
Take the G off, put a C in there, and you've got Make America Conservative again.
Oh.
All right. Thanks for the call, Bill.
That's a good idea.
Larry and Bartlett.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. Kind of along the same lines, just drop the last A, so keep it at MAG. If you like guns, you'll like that. Maintain America's greatness.
All right, MAG.
Good one, MAG.
Thanks, Larry. Judy in Lamont.
Hi, sorry, we got to have a new hat. Nash, never any socialism here.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Thanks for the call.
It would be red, though, right? It's got to be a red.
I like that. I like the Nash thing, too, because it sort of turns the election as a referendum on whichever Democrat socialist is nominated to be president. I like that. That's pretty good. All right. So we'll continue to take your suggestions for Trump slogans. We're gathering them. We're sending them in a formal report to Sean Hannity, who will then level them up to the White House. And in addition to that, coming up, I want to pick up the discussion on the border and this exchange Tucker Carlson had on his show with the Secretary of Migration for Guanajuato, a state in Mexico. Very illustrative of this back and forth you're hearing in silos with Obrador and Trump, but connect the two and have a conversation about it. It's very interesting what this politician from Guanajuato has to say.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Someday, someone you love will ask for help. And although Lake County Right to Life is not a crisis center, it is an educational and political organization involved in educating the public about current life issues and legislations. They take an active part in both the educational and lobbying aspects of the Right to Life movement. They formed the Lake County PAC to actively work in helping elect local Lake County candidates who are pro-life, pro-family legislators. These people support life-affirming legislation. Please help the cause. A crisis program center saves lives one at a time. Legislation saves thousands of lives. Lake County Right to Life supports women, mothers and fathers, unborn babies, families, and the elderly. Good public policy is supposed to protect the most vulnerable and does not impose on a taxpayer to pay for the lesser good, namely abortion. That takes everybody working together. For donations or information, visit lcrtl.org. That's lcrtl.org.
I've been to Chihuahua. It's nowhere near Guanajuato. Do you know what states we're going to on Saturday?
Guanajuato is where they have the mummies.
Right. We're going to fly into Jalisco and drive to Nayarit.
Yeah.
You're right. So we'll be in 2 states, okay?
See.
See. Hey, are your kids purchasing a new home? Then you need to contact your trusted local lender, Team Hochberg. Not your bank, not an online lender, and definitely not your realtor's preferred lender. Jen lived in a home to pay off student loans and save for a down payment. Jen began her property search online and was inundated with calls and text messages from realtors and their preferred lenders that she didn't know. Confused and overwhelmed, Jen asked her dad for advice, and he strongly recommended Team Hochberg, the only lender he trusted to help his daughter Jen secure financing on her first home. Team Hochberg answered Jen's questions. They approved her to purchase a home and introduced her to a Team Hochberg realtor. Locating and financing a home will not be stressful if you call Team Hochberg, your trusted local real estate team who will always look out for your financial best interest. Call them now at 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg helped me and thousands of AM 560 listeners, but they can't help you if you don't call. 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061.
Sometimes when it rains, it pours right into your basement. This is Gus from Chicagoland Waterproofing. My mission is to identify why your home is taking on water and fix it. I want you to sleep at night during a rainstorm and not worry about your basement filling up with water, like our client from Mount Prospect.
We decided to refinish our basement and wanted to put in new flooring, but we've always had a seepage problem. I heard Chicagoland Waterproofing on the radio and had to call. Gus came to our home and identified the problem immediately, explained a solution which involved 60 feet of interior trenching along the foundation. His guys were on time, professional, and cleaned up when they were done. Our refinished basement is 100% dry. Dry as a bone. Great experience. In Gus, we trust.
From simple sump pumps to complex storm drainage and crack foundation solutions, Chicagoland Waterproofing's work comes with a lifetime warranty. Plus, a fully licensed plumber is always on staff. Request your estimate today at ChicagolandWaterproofingPros.com or call 847-296-3500.
Do something for yourself. Do something for your body. Do something healthy. Do something right. Take Balance of Nature. It's 10 servings of 31 different fruits and vegetables in a single capsule. There's no dyes or preservatives. And the founder and creator of Balance of Nature, Dr. Douglas Howard, really, is passionate about his product. But he also, showed me the emails that he receives on a daily basis. I heard the voicemails from real people who've gotten healthy with Balance of Nature. And now I'm taking it too. And here's the deal that you want to jump on. The price of fruits and veggies is about to go up. But if you call or go online right now, you can lock in your price for fruits and vegetables for an entire year and get free shipping on every order. But you've got to use the promo code Chicago when you call. Calling is easy, 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use the promo code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Guanajuato, Dan and Amy. Guanajuato is the safe word. Juan Hernandez, Secretary of Migration for the state of Guanajuato, was on with Tucker Carlson talking about this issue of Central American migrants. What is the Mexican government doing about it? Not much. We were just talking about Obrador's real position is to not do anything about migrants and to try to work with Democrats to get some sort of Marshall Plan for southern Mexico and the northern triangle countries, while also, the Democrat socialists, Julian Castro, the Attorney General of all people, Attorney General of California, Xavier Becerra, saying the way to deal with illegal border crossings is just to stop making them illegal, decriminalize.
Oh my gosh.
So the exchange between Juan Hernandez and Tucker Carlson, Tucker asked a very good question. If all of these people who are trying to get to America are such a value add, if they're all good people, then why don't you just have them stay in Mexico and why don't you derive the benefit?
Why not let them stay forever and vote in your elections, but remain Guatemalans and Hondurans unto the seventh generation, as you said about your own people, about Mexican citizens? Why not let them do that and stay forever? And they could maybe account for like a third of your population after 100 years. Why would that be bad? Why are you kicking them out after a year?
These are individuals that are escaping hunger.
that are escaping violence.
Why not let them
There
stay?
are about 250 million people around the world that are migrating, looking for a better life. These individuals have chosen these good people. These are not bad people.
Then
These
why
are not
are you?
criminals.
Hold on,
They
please
are
answer my
asking
question.
the
Look, come on,
United
I
States
get
for
it.
asylum.
But
Now,
why
the
not?
United
Why
States
don't
can
you
decide
get?
whether
Why,
it wants to or not.
Slow down. They're in Mexico. You allowed them over your border. Simple question. Why are you kicking them out? They're good people who just want to work. Why aren't you taking advantage of that?
Mexico today, if you look at the last, I think it's 6 years, if you look at the numbers, Mexico has now deported more people to Central America than the United States has. The numbers have diminished and diminished
So
and
they're
diminished.
good people, but you're
look
deporting
at those numbers.
them.
The next time we're on, we'll
All right,
discuss them.
okay.
No, but the
Okay.
immigrants going
All
to
right.
the United States have diminished. There are less and less people going in. And though
That's
the United
not
States
true. All right,
needs
all right,
about
all right. We're out
300
of
to
time.
400,000
We're out of time. I still don't
new
understand
people every
why
year.
these great
We're going
people
at
are
less
being
than 1%,
deported by
my friend.
Mexico. Mexico is a hostile power that is seeking to undermine our country and our sovereignty.
Strong words at the end from Tucker Carlson, but it's difficult to disagree with them on this score when they're openly lying and acting contrary to America's interests. I mean, if you're acting contrary to somebody's interests and lying to them about it, is that not a form of hostility? Tom in Blue Island, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, Dad and Amy. Hope you guys enjoy your trip.
Thank you.
My acronym is CRAB.
CRAB.
Cajoling Republicans against bedwetting.
Okay. Thanks, Tom. Cajoling and bedwetting in a presidential reelection slogan. That's interesting. That would definitely be counterintuitive. Okay, very good, Tom.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Speaking of decriminalizing illegal border crossing, since Democrat socialists use decriminalization as a panacea for all societal ills, how about decriminalizing gangs in the city of Chicago? Ecuador did it, and we'll talk about their results. Maybe a South American country has a model for the Caracas of the Midwest to follow at 6:36.
And could it be him? A missing Aurora boy pops up in Kentucky 8 years after he has gone missing. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Well, we'll find out. DNA testing is being conducted to determine whether a boy found in Newport, Kentucky is a suburban Aurora boy who went missing in 2011 before apparently escaping kidnappers. The 14-year-old boy was picked up yesterday after asking passersby for help. Federal and local investigators say the teen claims to be Timothy Pitson, who vanished as a young boy. Sergeant Bill Rowley is with the Aurora Police Department.
Over these 7 years and all these thousands of tips of information, we've had nothing short of a roller coaster for both the investigators, but even more importantly, the family, who have had, certainly they've had their hopes raised and lowered countless times.
Police say the 14-year-old was found wandering in Newport, Kentucky. Told authorities yesterday that he escaped from two men holding him hostage at a Red Roof Inn hotel. The teen apparently ran across a bridge near Cincinnati into Kentucky. There are reports this morning that parts of the Mueller report are more damaging to President Trump than Attorney General Bill Barr's 4-page letter indicated. It's all part of a New York Times investigative report that claims associates of members of the special counsel team say Barr failed to adequately portray their findings of the Russia investigation. The Times reporter is Michael Schmidt.
Mueller report does not exonerate or condemn the president. It seems like it more provides a bunch of facts. And the special counsel's team looks at what the president says and says he is taking it out of context and twisting their work, and that bothers them.
Barr released a 4-page principal conclusions of that report as soon as it was complete. Pilots on the Ethiopian Airlines jetliner that crashed minutes after takeoff apparently followed all procedures provided by Boeing as they fought to keep the 737 MAX from slamming into the ground. Lori Lightfoot preaching solidarity after being elected mayor of Chicago on Tuesday.
We're not going to always agree on every issue, but I think if we open up government, put people first, and
come together in a spirit of cooperation, we're going to go a long way in bringing folks together.
Lightfoot and defeated rival Tony Preckwinkle came together for a unity event yesterday. Family and friends will gather to remember an Illinois state trooper killed this past weekend. Visitation for Gerald Ellis will take place at the College of Lake County in Grays Lake. A suburban Lombard woman is admitted to strangling her mother to death last year. Stephanie DeFalco pleaded guilty yesterday to first-degree murder in the death of Judith DeFalco. White Sox fans, you will have to wait an extra day for the home opener against the Mariners. Club moved the game from today to tomorrow because of weather concerns. Sox cruised past the Indians 8-3 in Cleveland yesterday. Yoan Moncada remaining red hot with a 2-run home run. Braves beat the Cubs 6-4. Jonathan Taves, the game winner in the Blackhawks win over the Blues, and the Bulls were last-second winners over the Wizards. The news service of Accountemps, when you could use help closing your books and need additional staff. It's time to call Accountemps. They can provide you with bookkeepers and other accounting and finance professionals on a temporary or project basis. And fast. Call today. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. 6:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager says it's all about your moral compass.
They hate Trump so they can lie. That is the way in which their moral compass functions. I can lie because I am a leftist and I have higher principles than truth. Getting rid of a president I don't like is a higher principle than telling anything true. That is their view. They believe what I have just said.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Critics are raving about the best of enemies. Taraji P. Henson and Sam Rockwell give magnificent performances.
You don't get my way.
Well, I'm gonna get in your way. The Christian Post calls it a perfect portrayal of how love can break through all barriers.
Same God made you, made me.
That serves as a masterful representation of healing and hope.
Don't you forget it.
The Best of Enemies, based on the untold true story. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. In theaters tomorrow.
Hey, Craig and Leslie here from In the Know. Leslie, people have spring fever. Consumer confidence is up, and that means spending. We want folks to enjoy what they've worked so hard for, but don't forget...
Craig, are you trying to tell me something? I know. Retirement's right around the corner.
Listen, a new season is time for regrowth and building on what you already have. You don't need to do it alone if you have Wealth Management Group at your side.
Spring into action and make Wealth Management Group your go-to partner. And listen to In the Know Sunday mornings at 10, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Safety. It's so important at your industrial facility. You need to keep your personnel safe and meet OSHA requirements. One problem with your ladders, platforms, or safety guards, and you could be facing costly fines. Vans Industrial helps you meet OSHA standards to keep your employees safe.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. As a business owner, I realize the importance of keeping my employees safe, and I'm here to offer my expertise. Vans Industrial is a specialty contractor uniquely equipped to design, fabricate, and install safety equipment, including walkways, handrails, stairways, and machinery guards. Our Vans Industrial team can inspect existing systems, engineer solutions, fabricate quality goods, and install them with trained pros, all making a safer environment for your employees.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
It is 6:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Through the rain, we're seeing some tollway delays this morning on the northbound tri-state. Traffic is slow from 75th Street to 47th and from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Eastbound Reagan Tollway, it's tight with road work from 22nd to Roosevelt. Edens inbound, 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. Spur has delays from the Tri-State to Waukegan Road. Inbound Kennedy, looking at 32 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 11 from Montrose, 10 on the Express. Outbound 28 minutes to the airport. Inbound Eisenhower, 48 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 33. Stevenson, 53 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Delays start at Weber. Ryan, 28 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 32 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop, 428. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Cloudy, breezy, cooler. Occasional rain showers and a high of 45. We're at 44 right now with a little light fog reported at Midway. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer
No, not you. Not you. Your organization's terrible.
on AM 560.
You are fake news.
The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and all morning we're taking new acronyms and the slogans that correspond with the acronyms for Trump's reelection. He has proposed, he's spitballing, he's in the spitballing phase, he's proposed CAG.
CAG. Keeping America.
Keep America
Keep
great.
America great.
Right.
See, I already messed it up.
You could stay with CAMAGA. Keep making America great. We've got Crab. We just had Crab from Tom Blue Island. Cajoling Republicans against bedwetting.
I'm not a big fan.
No,
of it reminds me of other things, Dan. Sort of scratch where it itches.
Yeah, well, that's
you know what I mean.
That's not good.
Not good.
Mike in Glenview, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning.
Morning.
Trying to help out for the Democrats because their whole platform is eroding the Constitution and destroying our rights. So an one I think you'd make a ton of money on is make America a beep hole again. MASH.
MASH.
They would clean up on Selenos mocking the Democratic Party. They stand for nothing. They stand for destroying the country. So make them bright blue, maybe pink.
Oh, they got to be pink, and they got to be in a particular shape. You know what I mean, Mike?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
MASH.
The V shape.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Mike. MASH. Yeah, it's not bad. Make America a bleep hole again. That's okay. Yeah, we'll take acronyms and slogans for the Democrats as well. But I want to get to this since we mentioned earlier in the show. No confidence statement issued by Cook County Suburban Police Chiefs from the 3 Suburban Police Chiefs Association against Kim Foxx. So we're in this post-law enforcement era in Chicago now, where we don't stop criminals, we don't arrest criminals, and we don't prosecute criminals, you know?
Right.
Yeah, it's a new approach to public safety. What about if, while on her political honeymoon over the next 3 weeks, Lori Lightfoot considered the Ecuadorian model of dealing with street gangs?
Which is what?
Which is...
It's Ecuador.
Yeah.
It's not, okay,
Ecuador.
just keep
Yeah.
it clean. Please.
I've been there.
Right, you have been. Quito.
You have not.
Did you go to Quito?
Have you been?
I've not been.
Yeah, so don't tell me about Ecuador.
It's Ecuador.
Mm-hmm. I even went up into the Andes Mountains to Pile.
Did you?
In a little village where they have the huts on sticks. It's pretty cool.
Did you eat anybody?
No, we were not forced to engage
Into
in cannibalism.
cannibalism?
Yeah, I'm happy to report.
Sorry. I'll never forget that movie. That was one of those. Oof.
No, we
Still
didn't find.
processing it.
We didn't find any stranded soccer teams.
Okay.
No, just the villagers.
Just making sure, Dan.
All right. So the Ecuadorian model is to do what Democrat socialists want to do with illegal border crossings, with drugs, with just about everything else that has a societal downside. If it's a problem, you just decriminalize it. That's what Ecuador did. And actually, to some effect, the sociologist from CCNY, David Brotherton, has studied this. In 2007, the crime-riddled nation of Ecuador legalized street gangs that had been the source of much of street violence, as is the case in Chicago. And murder rates plummeted. True story. Brotherton's research, well, the data and then Brotherton's research, Ecuador's murder rates fell from 15.3 per 100,000 in 2011 to 5 per 100,000 in 2017. A threefold decline in 6 years. It's pretty substantial. Brotherton says there is a correlation. He writes, I first thought maybe the crime rate was going down because the country had reformed the police, but we spent a year traveling around Ecuador, interviewing all the gang leaders. And when you hang out for a while, you see how differently they respond to conflicts now. For example, the Latin Kings put on one of the biggest hip-hop concerts ever, and they worked with other previously antagonistic gangs on the project. We found there the fascinating phenomenon going on of peaceful coexistence. A number of the senior guys were working with the government or in the police force. Some were doing crime analysis. Some were in college studying con law and social work. Some were getting into entrepreneurship, becoming caterers and graphic designers. So the point here is that you treat street gangs not as a social pathology, but you treat them as individuals who turn to street gangs at a young age because that's where the social pressure is. That's where the opportunities to make money are. And he's done significant research as this sociologist from CCNY on major street gangs that are international in nature, like the Latin Kings. What about that? Here's what they did. They basically treated them as like social organizations, cultural organizations. The members were active in their gangs, but they were functioning more like social movements or cultural groups. Previously, violent Latin Kings were working in everything from catering to crime analysis, and they were collaborating with other gangs they warred with in the past.
Having a party? Call Latin King Catering at 1-800-WE-DO-IT-RIGHT. Okay.
But
well, I'm glad they're reinventing themselves.
Pay your bill on time.
You best, baby. We're going to come get you.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, I applaud them for the ingenuity to reinvent themselves and to become more than just gangbangers.
What about the money? Oh, you're going to spend money on supporting gangbangers and sort of faux social organizational structures. Actually, the government ministry spent a bit of money on the events that the street gangs.
Would they help them with publicity, PR?
The Minister of Culture set up a train that went to the poorest communities in Ecuador to do street graffiti and art. There was a job training grant to set up a community center. Catholic University of Quito paid for 15 Latin queens, insert your own joke there, to study to become nurses. They never would be able to do that before legalization. I mean, look, sometimes you have people harken back to the days when Jeff Fort or Larry Hoover were running all the street gang operations in Chicago, effectively keeping everybody in line. That's sort of an urban myth because if you look at the violent crime statistics from Chicago during the height of the Keystone Rangers and the Gangster Disciples in the 70s and 80s, I mean, it wasn't a safe city.
No.
So that's not exactly true, but I mean, in terms of if you're not going to back the police and if you're going to have a politicized prosecutor who's over her skis and you've got 50 feudal lords running around and you've got a general antagonism towards police by the civilian political authority and you've got no legitimacy in these neighborhoods where most of the violence is occurring.
I mean, I still think of that story that John Cass wrote about last weekend when the gangbangers, the police they all had their guns drawn and the police backed down and left the area.
Yeah, because they were overwhelmed.
Yeah, they were overwhelmed and outmanned.
So what about it? I mean, how much worse could gang leaders make it than politicians have made it in Chicago?
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line.
We're not going to pretend that street gangs aren't involved in local electoral politics, are we? It's been documented for decades, including a good piece, I think it was Chicago Magazine a few years ago, that really delved into detail into how involved street gangs have been in aldermanic races and legislative races in particular neighborhoods. It's true. So what about that? I mean, I life imitating art. Well, life imitating life in Ecuador, but life imitating art like on The Wire when they set up neighborhoods where drugs were legalized and the police just essentially manned a perimeter around a effectively decriminalized open-air drug market in Baltimore.
They did do that. I mean, in Chicago, when I was a reporter, there was no police. Well, no, they were not coming in and they knew.
That's not the same thing as formalizing it.
Okay.
I'm talking about formalizing it, taking that as a crime-fighting approach. You're not going to, I mean, I know we're going to to legalize dope here, but that's not enough. And that's not where the action is. It's the harder drugs. So what do you want to do? You don't have law enforcement in Chicago. You don't have the rule of law. You have rule of politics. What do you think families in those neighborhoods want to do? I don't know. Because you remember, thanks to the groundbreaking research by Michael Javon Fortner, who we've had on this show, who's another professor in New York, in the early 70s, when New York started really imposing draconian punishment for drug dealing and, by association, on street gang members, it was black families in neighborhoods that were riddled with street gangs and violent crime and drug dealing that pressed Nelson Rockefeller and effete Republicans like him to impose stiffer penalties for those kind of illegal activities. I mean, one response you're seeing, obviously, is black families in these neighborhoods. I mean, I'm saying black families because that's the reality. Because we're a de facto segregated city, Chicago is. It's another shameful product of 100 years of one-party rule. But that's the fact. So one example, or one way that families, law-abiding families, are dealing with it is by leaving, like everybody else. If you don't have law enforcement, is this I'm asking this seriously, and you have no confidence in your political ruling class, nor should you. And I mean, what's the difference between some of those thugs in office, frankly, with the power of the state behind them? Is this something to consider? Chip in St. Charles, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I've been waiting for them to legalize the gangs in Chicago for years. And I thought what was going to happen was Obama was going to come back here and organize all the street gangs and then overthrow the federal government.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for the call, Chip. John in Wheeling.
Hey there. So they said murder rate went down, but they don't say what happened to drug use and deaths as a result of drugs, because these gangs are now allowed to operate, without any constraints. Mm-hmm. What happened to that?
Don't have the data on drug usage. That's a fair point. Thanks for the call, John. It's not going to be without consequence. I mean, this isn't the path to Ecuador being some global economic superpower. It's a path to stop violent crime first and foremost, or to try to reduce it. And you think a Marshall Plan for the West and South Sides, government spend, is going to do it in Chicago? We all know what the landscape is with police and prosecutors and the mayor's office. So what do you do? That's what Lori Lightfoot's got to figure. Bill in Milwaukee.
Yeah. My take on this is pretty simple. I think there's a little too simple to rely on one academic evaluation here. This guy creates a study by going around looking at homicide data, and then what social services the gang members are using, and how they're. This dovetails off the previous caller. You can't just simply say that these guys are going to give up their guns and drugs and the profits they make from criminal activity to take a class at the local community college. I think it's an absurd argument.
Well, let's not mischaracterize the research. Number one, this sociologist stays restrained, as well he should. All you can do is demonstrate a correlative impact, not a causal impact, number one. Number two, he's not arguing that Ecuador has become Xanadu since they decided to pursue this policy of street gang legalization. And number three, you have to compare it to the policies that are being pursued now and what their impacts are, both economically and just the human cost, the violence. That's the actual equation you're trying to solve here.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree with you, but that's what I'm saying. I think it's too early to draw any particular conclusions about what we could extrapolate.
Perhaps. Yeah.
And further, when we're talking about, keep in mind, one way in which governments keep themselves from getting blown up by gangs is to acquiesce to their desires, to their needs, and to leaving them alone. And that might be a survival mechanism as much as anything.
Yeah, right. Thanks for the call, Bill. Well, I mean, yeah, but if you're going to acquiesce to the gangs, you're de facto decriminalizing them, aren't you? I mean, if you're not going to, if we're going to pretend that there is a antagonistic relationship between law enforcement and street gangs, but there really isn't. Except, you got to go through this show of arresting a few and prosecuting a few to make it look to the public like you still have control of the situation, like you're doing something to reduce the incidence of violence. But in reality, you have de facto decriminalized street gangs, and they know it. The example Amy referenced from John Cass's column last week, 2 cops roll up, roust a guy for drug dealing, and a crowd gathers around, and they take the drugs right out of the police's car, and the 2 police officers get out of that neighborhood because they were afraid they were about to be overrun. Tell me, what's the difference? Greg in Schaumburg.
It's actually a very serious topic. Imagine if you were in a cop car. As we become balkanized, imagine you're in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's just 2 of you, and you get a domestic affair report that you have to respond to in the Muslim community. What do you do?
Thanks for the call, Greg. Text from a criminal defense attorney friend of mine who knows something about some of the individuals in street gangs in Chicago.
What?
Legalize street gangs, but only for honor roll students getting their lives together.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Mortgage applications hit a 2-year high. Wisconsin refinery to continue using a toxic chemical. And truckers gridlocked on the U.S.-Mexico border. Those stories next.
I remember feeling so desperate and so trapped. I was surrounded by family and friends that loved me. Any one of them would have listened to me, but I was so afraid of opening up to them, too embarrassed to talk about what was causing me so much pain. It felt like torture to be so close to people that would have loved to help me and yet too embarrassed to ask for help. And then a few weeks ago, I heard about Faithful Counseling here on the radio. Christian counselors, fellow believers, trusted therapists who not only share my faith, but could actually help me. They want to give you a free week so you can try them out. You can begin a conversation by text or phone, even video conferencing, in the privacy of your own home. Why not give it a try? If it's not for you, cancel during your first week and you won't pay a dime. Go to tryfaithfulcounseling.com. It's time to talk to someone who can help. Go now to tryfaithfulcounseling.com. It's so easy to get started, and your first week is free. Go to tryfaithfulcounseling.com.
As President Trump mulls whether to close the southern border, truckers are already gridlocked. Truckers reporting up to 12-hour waits at a number of border crossings because of border agents who've been transferred to deal with illegal crossings between ports of entry. A surge in refinancing and lower interest rates leading mortgage applications to jump to the highest level in 2.5 years. Interest rates on 30-year mortgages are averaging 4.3%. When Husky Energy reopens its Superior, Wisconsin refinery, it will be using a highly toxic chemical, hydrogen fluoride. A blast closed that plant last April and caused $400 million in damage. Husky understands local concerns, but says the chemical is fundamental to the process of making gas. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Text from the Amish texter regarding our discussion about street gang legalization in Ecuador. Who has the best fish fry, the Latin Kings or the Gangster Disciples? I don't know. It's a great question. I think we're going to do our AM 560 Passport to Paradise trip to Quito next year, so maybe we'll get the answer, and I will relay that. You've heard me talk about Northridge Prep for a year. I have friends with children at the school. They rave about it. Let me tell you a few things they don't do at Northridge. They don't put an iPad in every boy's hands and somehow expect the boys to focus. The Northridge Prep boys turn off their phones and learn with paper and pen. They don't expect boys to sit still all day in the classroom. They have gym every day. They allow the boys to play tag, throw snowballs, and the like. They don't tell their boys that being masculine is bad. Instead, they teach what it means to be a gentleman and expect their students to act like a gentleman, like, the opposite of Joe Biden. The teachers expect a lot from the young men. The coaches push them, and the boys love Northridge. If you have a son entering middle or high school and you want him to be an intellectual assassin, you should learn more about Northridge Prep. Their next open house is this coming Sunday, April 7th. I encourage you to register online at northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org.
Famous conservative quotes presented by Automated Systems.
Thomas Jefferson said, "When the government fears the people, you have liberty. When the people fear the government, you have tyranny.
For FDA-regulated staffing needs, Automated Systems provides top talent, including experienced quality control and assurance engineers, plus validation and compliance experts. Hiring the best is critical to success. ASI resources are all degreed professionals with decades of experience in manufacturing, automation, and FDA compliance. That's why ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life science companies to successful startups. For a staffing evaluation, call Laz at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit hireasi.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or online at hireasi.com.
This is Dr. Howard, founder and formulator of Balance of Nature. We're changing America one life at a time.
Now, these are probably the best supplements I've ever had. I've cut out all the other stuff I'm taking and stuff like that. I went completely off the blood pressure meds almost immediately. So it's definitely, you can see a huge difference.
I fell from my chair and I crushed my heel. I feel that has gotten better since I've been taking Balance of Nature.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself by using discount code CHICAGO. The price of fruits and vegetables is going up. Call now to see how you can lock in your price of fruits and vegetables for an entire year and get free shipping on every order. Call 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy are a quick acronym. Mark in Plainfield, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Quickly.
If I get to my acronym, do you know a good gang member that could remodel a basement?
Oh, my God.
All right. Acronym, please.
Acronym, it's HATE, Helping America Topple Elitism.
All right, thanks for the call. A positive spin on hate. Okay.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Could Tom Wolfe have invented the Jussie Smollett story? We'll talk to Ben Sixsmith, writer for Quillette, about that case at 7:07.
But first, straight into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Police investigating if a teen found in Kentucky is a missing Aurora boy. White Sox home opener has been moved to Friday. WIND Chicago News Time, 7.
The Mueller report is more troubling to President Trump than's been indicated. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what the New York Times reports, that some of the special counsel's investigators believe Attorney General Barr did not adequately portray the findings in a summary that concluded there was no Russia collusion and not enough evidence for obstruction of justice, though the special counsel did not exonerate the president. The president's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, told Fox,
"These people are lawless. They're a joke. I mean, there are laws in this country. Republicans get the benefit of laws, not just Democrats."
Well, the Democrat-led House Judiciary Committee voted to issue a subpoena to get the full Mueller report. There's also a new attempt to get the president's tax returns. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Richard Neal said his request to the IRS for 6 years of the president's personal and business tax returns is, in his words, in the interest of ensuring the accountability of our government and elected officials. He also said his request is about policy, not politics. The president reacted to this House request late yesterday.
Until such time as I'm not under audit, I would not be inclined to do that.
Neal is relying on a little-known IRS law in seeking the president's tax returns, which grants him the power to request tax information on any filer. Dave?
John, another Democrat ready to join the crowded race for president. Sources tell Fox Congressman Tim Ryan will announce his intention to run this morning. Later today, Howard Schultz will be at a Fox News Town Hall Forum. The ex-Starbucks CEO is considering an independent run for president. Schultz told the Fox News Rundown podcast if he wins,
I would be beholden to no self-interest, no party. I'd be beholden to one group. I'd wrap myself in the American flag and do everything I can every single day to care for the American people.
Police are trying to determine if a boy who claims to be Timothy Pitson really is. He turned up in Kentucky saying he escaped his kidnappers 8 years after Pitson disappeared at age 6 when his mother apparently killed herself. This is Fox News.
We've had gray skies throughout the morning, and we likely will throughout the day. Some light fog also reported in the area. At 7:02 on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. DNA testing is being done today. FBI continues to investigate after a boy found in Newport, Kentucky, may turn out to be a suburban Aurora boy who went missing in 2011. Federal and local investigators say that teen claims to be Timothy Pitson. Sergeant Bill Rowley is with the Aurora Police Department.
Well, maybe this time we've found him, or maybe this time we have salient information, only to be disappointed and to be let down. So we have to be so judicious when we investigate these tips to make sure that we don't give any sense of, any false sense of hope.
The 14-year-old was found wandering, according to police, in Newport, Kentucky, just across the river from Cincinnati. The teen identified himself as Pitson, who disappeared after his mother apparently committed suicide in Rockford after a trip to the Wisconsin Dells. The kidnappers and boy had apparently been staying at a Red Roof Inn hotel before the teen ran across that bridge. Several Chicago aldermanic races are still undecided, including Rosanna Rodriguez clinging to a narrow lead over incumbent Deborah Mill in the 33rd Ward. Meantime, a unity breakfast yesterday, Lori Lightfoot preaching solidarity with former rival and defeated Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle. Bail denied for a third man charged in the killing of an off-duty Chicago police officer last month in the River North neighborhood. Jaquan Washington appeared in court on charges of murder and attempted murder in the case of Officer John Rivera. Carlos Rodon struck out 9. White Sox beat the Indians 8-3 in Cleveland. White Sox fans, you will have to wait an extra day for the home opener against the Mariners. Club has already moved that game from today to tomorrow because of weather concerns. Braves beat the Cubs, Blackhawks over the Blues, and the Bulls top the Wizards. The news, a service of Fair.com, a totally new way to get a car with the flexibility to turn it in anytime. Don't buy a car. Don't get a loan. Get a car on your phone. Fair, the new way to get cars. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
With a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I shopped the many highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $27 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-597-0315. That's 800-597-0315. 800-597-0315. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
The kids grew up so fast. Hard to believe it's been over 20 years since you were playing catch in the backyard or showing your youngest around the kitchen. Lots of memories in this house. But maybe it's time to make new memories in a house that's more suited to your current lifestyle. McNaughton Development brings all the quality, style, and upscale details you love in your current home in a custom home that better suits your present needs. You don't have to scale down and sacrifice everything you love in the home where your kids grew up. With McNaughton, you get the highest quality custom residential construction with exclusive amenities. Right now, McNaughton is building Lakeside Point of Burr Ridge. It's a community with 44 home sites in the heart of the Burr Ridge Village Center, featuring 7 refined ranch and first-floor master 2-story floor plans. You can walk to the finest restaurants and shops in Burr Ridge and enjoy maintenance-free living in a park setting with natural lake. Visit them online, luxuryemptynester.com, to learn more about Lakeside Point of Burr Ridge and their other suburban communities. luxuryemptynester.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chuck Spaveri, CEO of Spaveri's Custom Counters, a Chicagoland manufacturer of residential and commercial countertops. If there's a local commercial bank who knows how to get a deal done, it's Signature Bank. When my brother and I needed it, Signature Bank came through with a creative financing solution. That's because Signature Bank has experience working with companies like ours, a second-generation, family-owned and operated manufacturer. Our business matters to Signature Bank, and that comes through in every visit and every phone call with their team, right up to the bank's co-founders, Kevin, Mick, and Brian. Spervery's is proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Keep your pets secure and safe with Boundary Plus technology, exclusively from Invisible Fence brand. Boundary Plus is the only dog fence that provides additional protection against escape. Save 50% on professional installation when you schedule your in-home quote today at invisiblefence.com.
7:07. An update on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
The inbound Edens is heavy. Oakton to the junction. 35 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 21. The eastbound Spur has delays. The Tri-State to Waukegan Road. Inbound Kennedy, 50 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 25 from Montrose. 20 in the Express. Outbound 42 minutes to the airport. On Eisenhower, 49 minutes. 390 to downtown. 34 from Mannheim. Outbound 35 to 390. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to the drive, outbound 36. The Ryan is 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 32 minutes, siding to the Bishop 428. Westbound Tri-State, it's heavy, 115th to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve, the Reagan Tollway snarl, Midwest to Roosevelt. It's traffic, I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
It'll be breezy today, clouds and cool, some occasional rain, high 45. Rain this evening, otherwise cloudy tonight, low 40. Clouds tomorrow morning, some sun for the afternoon, milder day with a high at 60. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
44 degrees, cloudy skies at O'Hare. We've had some light rain crossing the area. Your next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Nobody loves literary references in the context of politics more than me, which is why I make them, and which is why I was drawn to this column by Ben Sixsmith at spectator.us, the Spectator. Could Tom Wolfe have invented the Jussie Smollett story? And he cites Radical Chic, which is a classic. But the difference is, well, I guess this is a true story, too. It's a true story about a hoax. The opening of Radical Chic, and this is not verbatim, it's from memory, it's been a while. But Leonard Bernstein hosting a fundraiser for the Black Panthers in his Manhattan penthouse. And he says to one of the Black Panthers, "Aren't you disgusted by the opulence you see around you?" It's his house, right? His place. "Aren't you disgusted by this?" And the Black Panther says, "No, not really." And Leonard Bernstein says, "I am." And it just goes to Wolfe's great ability to, lampoon the arrogant, the cultural narcissist. And that is a perfect segue to a discussion about the Jussie Smollett story and so much of our culture these days. Pleased to be joined by Ben Sixsmith, who is a writer for Quillette, as well as Spectator USA and the Catholic Herald. Ben, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, and by the way, we'll get to this. Could Ray Bradbury, the author of Fahrenheit 451, could he have invented Christian Amanpour? I want you to think about that. We'll come back to that later. But for now, why did Tom Wolfe call to mind Jussie Smollett and this escapade in Chicago?
I mean, I think if you read the story, you could assume that it was a posthumous tale by Tom Wolfe. It was very similar to his previous plots. He wrote a lot about how American life is governed by status and the need to compete for attention and influence and cultural power. And we could definitely see, not just with Jussie Smollett's attempt to concoct this story, but with the credulousness with which it was received. that this wasn't just concern for what was thought to have happened, but this was concern for the cultural impact that it would have and how much an event like this could be exploited.
And you go on to sort of chronicle other events that sort of address sort of the same cultural phenomena or cultural infirmities, depending on your perspective, including the Covington case in D.C.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Covington case was all about symbolism. As soon as anyone saw that little clip, if you were on a liberal side, it was going to tick all the boxes of everything that outraged you, the kind of racial implications, the sheer smugness, the apparent privilege of the boys involved. You didn't really have to ask yourself what the context was because it made so much emotional sense to you.
So we got could Tom Wolfe have invented Jussie Smollett? I've asked if Ray Bradbury could have invented Christiane Amanpour. How about this one? Could Kurt Vonnegut have invented Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the Green New Deal and our politics of a real estate developer, reality show host going up against a 29-year-old bartender who wants to deindustrialize America? Now that takes some creative writing.
Yeah, I think that could have been Philip K. Dick as well.
Okay, right.
You said in your piece that it would have been a perfect Wolfian ending if the hapless brothers were arrested for assault while the multimillionaire actor proclaimed his innocence. Did you ever think that was a possibility of happening?
It doesn't look like it will happen now. It certainly would have made sense to me at the time, but I think that would be maybe a bit of a step too far. It feels like Smollett supporters are attempting to create this kind of weird agnostic space. There was an interview with Maxine Waters where she said, we'll probably never know all the details of this event, as if there were many interpretations that could be drawn from it. When to any disinterested observer, it's very obvious what happened.
So, I mean, just thinking about this just in sort of a timeline, I mean, do you think that we're going to someplace different than where we were culturally when Tom Wolfe wrote Radical Chic or Bonfire of the Vanities? Is this just a hamster wheel, or are we descending into a new low when it comes to American culture?
I think there's definitely increasing polarization where if you speak to one person about an event, they could have a very different idea of what happened from someone else. For example, with the Jussie Smollett case, the inability of his supporters to admit that he did anything wrong. In that Maxine Waters interview, she was talking about his future, and she almost said she hoped he'll be forgiven. But then she realized that if he was going to be forgiven, he would need to have done something wrong in the first place. So she changed it into that she hoped he would be successful. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the future many people look back at Jussie Smollett's career and imagine that actually he was victimized in some way. And then the other half of America looks back. And
it's just mind-blowing.
I
mean, that we have the same facts in front of us, and yet we see the story so differently.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, if you see, it's a bit like the old story about the elephant, where if you have 5 men patting different parts of the elephant, they think it's a very different beast, even though they're all essentially touching the same animal, because we only see the facts we want to see, and everything else is invisible to us.
Well, the interesting thing, though, I think you were getting to is there's a knowledge of what the facts are, but there's a refusal to admit it because there's a higher order to be served. And the responses you're getting from Smollett supporters, including that young actress on the sitcom Blackish during the NAACP Awards when her show won an award, she didn't say Jussie's innocent. She said, I stand with Jussie. Right? It's about I stand with. I'm not going to make a comment on his innocence or guilt. It's just I'm on this side of the skirmish line because you're on that side.
Absolutely. And because I think for them, the case has a kind of emotional truth, where even if they might admit that in this case nothing happened, it reflected a kind of broader truth about American life. And so I think they feel in defending Smollett, they're defending their kind of cultural narrative rather than just an individual victim or perpetrator of a crime.
Well, I think that's exactly right. That's what's happened in some quarters where you have the response to Smollett is, well, you want to talk about Jesse Smollett, let's talk about the Chicago police and their history of violence against black men and so on and so forth. They want to turn this on to a discussion they want to have. They don't want to have just a discussion on the four corners of the Smollett case. It's got to, they got to bring in other things because so much attention is being paid to it. Now is the opportunity for us to prosecute our grievances.
Yeah, absolutely.
He is Ben Sixsmith, writer for Quillette, Spectator USA, and the Catholic Herald. Check out his column, Could Tom Wolfe Have Invented the Jussie Smollett Story, at spectator.us. Ben, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
Take care.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Their boots are always dirty because at First Choice Equipment, they work alongside their customers to help find innovative solutions to their equipment needs. First Choice Equipment is a trusted family-owned full-service construction equipment dealer that provides skid steers, excavators, track loaders, and wheel loaders to contractors throughout northern Illinois and southeast Wisconsin. They sell, rent, and service Kubota and Mustang construction equipment. Kubota is proud to serve the world's #1 selling compact excavator, and in 2018, the Kubota SVL track loader was awarded the highest retained value award by Equipment Watch. At First Choice Equipment, they work alongside construction professionals who put their work boots on every day. Visit their website at firstchoiceequipment.com to view all of the Kubota and Mustang products, or call 855-510-6050. That's 855-510-6050. First Choice Equipment. They're not just building your neighborhood, they're also part of your neighborhood.
Have you been mattress shopping lately? Let me try that again. Have you been mattress shopping lately? Well, it's expensive, and I urge you to consider the MyPillow mattress topper before you go out and spend all that money. The mattress topper is a lot less expensive and will revitalize your mattress. I have one and don't know if I like my pillow or my mattress topper more. It's that good, and you'll get the best sleep of your life. Order now and get 30% off plus 2 free standard MyPillows. The exclusive 3-layer design includes MyPillow foam for support, transitional foam to help relieve pressure points, and ultra-soft patented temperature-regulating cover that's washable and dryable. Plus, Mike Lindell's 60-day money-back guarantee. You'll get the total body support you need, sleep better, and save a lot of money. Save 30% off your MyPillow mattress topper when you use the promo code AMY. Plus, you'll receive 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. Visit MyPillow.com, promo code AMY, or call 800-489-0201.
Your Sprinter or light-duty diesel is the lifeblood of your business. You can't afford to have just anyone care for this major piece of equipment. You wouldn't go to an eye doctor to fix your knee, so don't go to any shop to fix your Sprinter, Duramax, Cummins, or Power Stroke vehicle. Go to the experts at Remke's Garage. Remke's Garage doesn't just fix a problem, they find a solution. Remke's goal is to make sure you never lose a dollar of business. That's why owner Joe Remke sits with you and creates a maintenance plan specific to your unique vehicle. Go to Remke'sGarage.com to learn more about their specialization in Sprinter and light-duty diesel vehicles. Their commitment to your business is backed with a complimentary maintenance plan and free 2-year warranty on all parts. They'll even pick up, deliver, and offer you a loaner vehicle free of charge. Go to Remke'sGarage.com to schedule your free maintenance plan consultation.
Remke's Garage, repairing America.
Gentlemen, are you taking care of your skin? Probably not, but you should. I'm doing it. I bet you're not using any type of daily moisturizer, let alone one with SPF. But if you want to look good, maintain your youthful glow, as I have.
You do look younger.
Thank you. It's time to...
You know what? They had a fascinating picture of you. You look great. And I probably took the ugliest picture of my life in a following tweet. I'll share it with you later.
Where did you take that picture?
When we were at the
Woodland?
Woodland
Windows and Doors?
Yeah.
They didn't get your...
Somebody got hit with the ugly stick, and it wasn't you.
You never know.
Continue. Maybe I need to chug Tiege Hanley.
Yeah, well.
Does it come in shot forms?
Do something smart about your skincare, gentlemen. Hey, well, your boys are taking it, using
They are. And actually,
taking it, using
you know what?
it.
Peyton's acne on his forehead's clearing up.
There
I'm
you
sure
go.
he loves when his mom talks about that on the radio.
Yes, I'm sure that puts him in great standing with the girls at school, I'm sure. Tiege Hanley, they're doing something about how men think about, treat their skin, started by 4 dudes who know how dudes think. Tiege Hanley, simple, affordable, effective. You don't have to go shopping. All the products are delivered to your door through their subscription service. No hidden fees or inflated costs. 3 skincare systems, simple, wash or scrub, moisturizers with SPF 20 to provide skin protection when you're active out in the sun as the spring is upon us. So right now, go to Tiege.com/DanProft. Use the promo code DAN20, Dan and the number 20. Check out for 20% off your first box when you do. That's Tiege, TIEGE.com/DanProft, and use the promo code DAN20.
My husband was incredibly sick. We had kids already, and I just started a new job. A new baby did not fit into our life. I didn't know what to do, so I took the abortion pill.
Every day in the U.S., nearly 1,000 women make the choice to end their pregnancy through chemical abortion, the abortion pill. Many of these women immediately regret that choice.
As soon as I took the abortion pill, I knew I made a mistake. I needed to find a way to fix it.
For every $75 we raise, a woman gets a second chance at choice, and her baby gets a second chance at life through the Abortion Pill Rescue Network. For just $75, you can provide this life-saving medical solution to thousands of women that call us every month. Go to hbi.life and save a woman and her baby from abortion. That's hbi.life.
Hey, guess what? Spring is here. You're playing golf, you're doing outdoor activities, you're doing yard work, and maybe wake up the next morning like, ooh, I'm all stiff. My back hurts. Well, you know what? Maybe you should take some Balance of Nature. 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies, all in a single capsule with no dyes or preservatives. The owner, Dr. Douglas Howard, and creator of Balance of Nature, showed me that this machine that they use to compress the fruits and veggies into the capsules, it's just amazing. They really care about their product. They know that their product is helping people live healthier and happier lives. And that can be you too. And right now, we have a special offer for you. You can lock in your price for the fruits and vegetables for an entire year and get free shipping on every order. We all know the price of fruits and vegetables is going to go up. But if you call now, you can lock in a full year supply of Balance of Nature and get free shipping. But you have to use the promo code Chicago. Go to balanceofnature.com, promo code Chicago, or call 800-246-8751.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we're doing this story because Amy has put together 10 years worth of audio on this Pitson kid who was apparently found.
Well, they're doing DNA testing today, but remember the story? It was just so horrific. He was only 6 years old when his mom went to his school in Aurora and said that they had a family emergency. Then they went to Kalahari Resort in Wisconsin Dells for 3 days. And then she checked herself into a Rockford hotel room. Okay, that's enough with the music. She checked herself into a Rockford hotel room and committed suicide. But she left a suicide note saying that he's okay. You'll never find him, but he is alive. Well, people have been searching for him for 8 years. I've been praying for him off and on, honestly, for 8 years because he was the same age as Peyton when he disappeared.
Okay.
And the grandmother who lost her daughter, who lost her grandson, has never given up hope.
We never stopped looking for him. I miss him and his mother every day of my life.
Well, guess what? Yesterday, a teenager claiming to be him escaped from southern Ohio near Cincinnati, crossed over the bridge into Kentucky. This woman found him.
He's been kidnapped and he's been traded through all these people. He just wanted to go home. He needed help. And could I call the cops?
He looked like he had been beat up, yes, punched in the face a couple of times.
And he said that 2 white men who were bodybuilders were holding him hostage at a Red Roof Inn, and that one of them had a spider neck tattoo, and then again that he's been transferred from groups of people to other groups of people.
Now, have the those two Nigerian American brothers been cleared in this case?
Stop it.
Did anybody yell?
This is MAGA country.
Did he recall anybody doing that or putting a noose around him?
No.
All right.
No. But again, this is a big story because I remember. Do you remember when it happened at the time? Everybody was looking for him, and it gives me hope that Diamond and Tianda Bradley might be alive. It gives me hope that maybe Lisa Stebbick's alive. It gives me hope that maybe Stacey Peterson's alive.
Oh.
No, don't. Okay, you're rolling your eyes. Don't roll your eyes.
I mean, I'm glad this boy was found, whoever he is, because he obviously wasn't in the place he should be. But I mean, okay. I mean,
she loved that little boy more than anything else in her whole life that I ever saw her. There's just no way that she would have done anything like that.
So
she would have done anything like what? She committed suicide.
Well, Amy, that's the little boy's mom. Amy, she committed suicide, but that's
not exactly a responsible act.
No, it's not. And who she gave her kids and what he's been going through the past 8 years, I cannot even imagine. It's probably so horrific. I don't even want to know the details, but I hope to God that it's him and that he can finally be reunited with his father. His father never gave up hope that he was alive because he always felt deep down inside that, it's a possibility.
Well, yes. I hope there's a happy ending to the story. There's a happy ending to this kid's story, whoever he is, whether he turns out to be who he thinks
but it's not
he says he is or
name.
thinks he is.
So if he comes up and says, I'm Timothy Pitson, they got to believe him. 2 Aurora police detectives are down there right now interviewing him, and he got a physical last night, and then again they swabbed his DNA to make sure it's him.
Okay.
Do you want to know more? Do you want to know what Dan Farrelly said?
Who's Dan Farrelly?
Dan Farrelly is the longtime Aurora police spokesman. He's no longer on the job, but he was there for this whole ordeal.
Sure.
We've not only interviewed people, we've re-interviewed people. There's absolutely no useful information on that cell phone.
Because months after she was found dead in the Rockford hotel room, they found her cell phone on a random road outside of Rockford, and there's nothing on there to indicate who she might have sold or given her son to. Okay. All right.
Well, Mike Scott will keep you updated on this case because that's the last we're going to talk about it.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We are going to talk to Sam Abrams in our special Campus Beat segment. He is the political science professor at Sarah Lawrence who has been under assault by the Marxist mobs on campus. We'll talk to him about that. We'll also ask him how good a student Tiny Dancer was when he was at Sarah Lawrence.
Oh, that's right. His college transcripts.
7:37.
But first, let's head into the newsroom. Do you have an update on Timothy, Mike Scott?
There is nothing new to report at this time. However, as you mentioned, the DNA testing continues. It was conducted to try and determine whether that boy found in Newport, Kentucky, is a suburban Aurora boy who he claims to be Timothy Pitson, who vanished in 2011. There's word this morning that Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report on Russian election interference, according to a few of those investigators, may be more damaging in their minds to President Trump than Attorney General Bill Barr's 4-page summary indicates. That crew of Mueller investigators spoke to the New York Times and say Barr failed to adequately portray their findings. First official report on the Ethiopian's airline crash that killed 157 is out. Says the pilots repeatedly did everything that Boeing recommended. Ethiopia's transport minister telling reporters this morning the crew repeatedly performed procedures provided by Boeing, but they still were not able to control the 737 MAX jetliner. Here in Chicago, Lori Lightfoot preached solidarity after being elected mayor of Chicago. The mayor-elect met with outgoing Mayor Rahm Emanuel at his office yesterday.
It was a very cordial and productive conversation. I think the first of many, and I was very pleased.
Lightfoot and former rival Tony Preckwinkle also came together for a unity-type event. Several police chiefs in Cook County plan to announce today they have no confidence in state's attorney Kim Foxx. Law enforcement leaders claim Foxx has bungled a number of felony cases. This action comes after her office's controversial decision to drop the charges against Jesse Smollett over his alleged staged attack. Bail denied a third man charged in the killing of an off-duty Chicago police officer last month in the River North neighborhood. Jaquan Washington was in court yesterday. Charges of murder were applied and attempted murder in the case of Officer John Rivera, who was gunned down March 23rd on North Clark Street. Nursing home employees from around the state demanding action on a bill in Springfield that would address, they say, some staff shortages in care facilities. White Sox fans will have to wait an extra day for opening day against the Mariners. The club has already moved that game from today to tomorrow because of weather concerns. Not much to concern yourself about if you're a White Sox fan. They're playing pretty well right now. Carlos Rodon struck out 9. Sox cruise past the Indians 8-3 in Cleveland. If you're a Cub fan, you have reasons for concern about the bullpen. Johan Camargo smacks a 3-run double off that depleted pen in a 4-run 8th inning in the Braves' 6-4 comeback win over the Cubs in Atlanta. The News is a service of Accountemps. Finding highly skilled accounting and finance professionals can be a challenge. Accountemps can help. With Accountemps' extensive network of accounting and finance contractors, you can be sure to find the right person for your exact hiring needs. Visit Accountemps.com to learn more. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. 7:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is going to be here soon, and it's the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Balance of Nature's fruit and veggie capsules contain 100% fine-ripened fruits and vegetables, tested pure with no pesticides, fillers, or additives of any kind, and are the most effective whole food supplements on the market today. You might ask, how can over 10 servings of 31 different fruits and vegetables fit into 6 vegetarian capsules? Fruits and vegetables are on an average 85% water. Balance of Nature uses cold vacuum technology to remove the water, leaving only the whole food. We don't use any heat, air, or light drying methods that damage nutrients. Our cold vacuum technology maintains 99% of the fresh fruits and vegetables' original nutritional value. Along with diet and exercise, Mother Nature provides fruits and vegetables to help us maintain good health.
To order, go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751 and use discount code CHICAGO.
If your company has a 401k plan, you should know that in 2017 alone, the Department of Labor assessed damages of over $682 million against more than 65% of the business 401k plans it investigated. This represents an average monetary demand from the officers of over $600,000, excluding legal costs and time answering to the federal government. For a limited time, the accredited investment fiduciaries of Clear Financial Strategies are offering AM 560 listeners a fiduciary review of their business 401k plan. Don't be a victim of potential neglect by your current providers. For the greatly reduced price of $250, owners and officers can have peace of mind knowing the level of fiduciary compliance of their plan. Call now to take advantage of this limited time, no obligation offer. For your company's fiduciary review, call 855-972-9564. That's 855-972-9564, or visit clearfinancialstrategies.com.
7:36. Let's get an update on the roads now in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Telemonti.
On the northwest side, traffic is a mess at the intersection of Milwaukee Avenue with Irving Park and Cicero. The traffic lights are flashing red. Northbound Tri-State traffic's jammed southwest highway to the Hinsdale Oasis, and it's slow from the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. On Reagan Tollway, it's gummed up from Myers to Roosevelt. Northbound Veterans Memorial, 75th, much of the way to St. Charles. And the Army Trail toll to 290. And northbound 53 has delays. Kirchhoff to Euclid. Crash in the left lane. Eden's 35 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. The Kennedy, 55 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, quicker than the Express. Eisenhower, 58 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 37, 95th to downtown. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, cloudy, breezy, cooler, occasional rain. High 45, currently 44. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
They got the beat, the campus beat, the campus beat. Yeah, the campus beat.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. A special edition of Campus Beat. We've got a guest on a situation we've discussed previously here. The Professor Samuel Abrams, who is a poli-sci professor at Sarah Lawrence, the alma mater of One Tiny Dancer. He had the audacity to note research that he did that finds the distribution of administrators across the ideological spectrum is 12 to 1 left to right. This is about college administrators, so as much time is focused on particular professors or professorate generally, he focused on college administrators more uniformly left than college faculties. And that unleashed the Marxist mobs on campus, both students as well as academics, as well as administrators, few of which who stood with Professor Abrams and his research. Now, again, some context here in terms of Sarah Lawrence, what you're dealing with. The Marxist mob has also issued demands connected to a sit-in. The Diaspora Coalition on campus talked about this. Among their demands, and they're categorized for easy reading, in the area of housing accommodations and accessibility, all campus laundry rooms are to supply laundry detergent and softener on a consistent basis.
We need fabric softener now.
When do we want it?
Now.
How? On what basis do we want it? Consistent. This is what you're dealing with at one of these elite, small liberal arts colleges that cost $60,000 a year to send your kid. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by the professor in question, Sam Abrams. Sam, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So you penned a piece in response to the firestorm at which the center of which you are at, and suggested that when the student mob came for your job, there was not a lot of allies to find on the campus of Sarah Lawrence.
Absolutely, and I think that's actually more disturbing than the actual demands of having me stripped for tenure and go before a review of students, actually, because at the end of the day, the universities are where we're supposed to have dialogue, debate, discourse. We're supposed to talk about ideas. And when it turns out that more faculty sign on to a list of student demands, 40 of them, in fact, that demand that I lose my tenure versus the 27 who said I have the right to write anything, and then the hundreds who said nothing, that's very, very scary.
Well, what did they say? Why do they want you to lose your tenure? Just explain it to us.
Largely because I wrote a piece in the New York Times where I pointed out that if we want to really understand what's going on our university and college campuses, why have they become so crazy, you look to the faculty, and the faculty contribute a little bit. But for the most part, it's actually these college administrators, these folks who run the diversity offices, the folks who run the student life offices, the folks who run the student success offices. If you look at where the protests are occurring, where the friction is happening, some of it's in the classroom, but the overwhelming majority of it are, in dining halls and in residence halls. If you look over the last couple of years, you see these are disputes that take place outside the classroom. So we want to really understand who's in charge there, who's setting the tone, who's setting the sort of discourse. And you discover it's these administrators. And then when you look more deeply at who they are, you realize they're uniformly progressive, and they're pushing a very particular liberal and, again, progressive agenda.
And so the response from students and even some administrative faculty was to confirm what you wrote in the New York Times by suggesting you be punished and banished in response to detailing the ideological distribution of administrators.
Exactly right. And in fact, when the piece came out 6 months ago, I thought it had died down. The first flare-up, I received my first set of threats and my threat against my little boy and vandalism and all that lovely stuff within about 3 hours of the piece's publication. So very, very quick, very, very hostile. Very anti-intellectual, very much against everything that a lot of these folks believe in, which is about hearing the other side, compassion, discourse, understanding where people are coming from. Not so much.
So they don't. They say they believe in those things, but it turns out they don't when tested.
Exactly right.
And what did they threaten against your son? What threats were made against him?
Stuff that would not be appropriate to say on the radio,
but
nice. not great. I had a newborn. I had a photo of him in a Sarah Lawrence T-shirt. I proudly put it on my office door at Sarah Lawrence. Office doors are covered with flair. That went missing along with a lot of other stuff. And, just consider the fact that if I had done that, if I had taken down material from another professor's door that I found objectionable or I didn't agree with politically, imagine the reaction I would have had. I would have had an investigation. The police would have been called and so on. Sadly, at Sarah Lawrence, no one called me about this. I had to reach out to them. No real investigation, as far as I can tell, actually happened. I've asked for what they've done. They really won't tell me, and they're just trying to sweep it under the rug.
So
I'm not. It's a picture of your son.
I want to understand the argument that they're making. Is the argument that they're making that your research is incorrect, or they don't like it being brought out into the light of day?
I think the latter. I actually would very much welcome, and I really would welcome a dialogue about am I right or am I wrong. In the 6 months since I've published this piece, no one has actually come up and tried to correct it. No one has said, let me do my own work, let me interview some people. No one has done a content analysis where they do what I already did, which is look at what the programming is and how out of balance or in balance is it. The whole point of higher ed and academia is to challenge these things. No one has done that. I'm not surprised no one has done that. I think it's actually pretty airtight, the work. So, no, I think they just regret and resent the fact that I'm saying it. And I'm saying it because universities are heading in a very bad direction. We need to have more balance, more ideological balance, and we need to be able to talk and have discourse and dialogue. And we're not doing it. Incidentally, since it's Chicago, one of the bright spots is actually the University of Chicago. President Zimmer down south has been leading the charge on that, along with Professor Stone, about how to deal with free speech and how to have real discourse. And Chicago is one of the bright spots, actually, in the universe of higher ed right now.
And you've had some other colleagues rally to your defense on this case, Jonathan Haidt and others who have spoken out against similar incidents that have happened to other academics around the country, Brett Weinstein at Evergreen State and such. But I just wonder, a question I always ask when we talk to people who've been subjected to the Marxist mobs is, do you think that there is really movement to change the campus culture that's now extended certainly beyond the campus, or do you just sort of have one-off voices in the wilderness at a few colleges around the country, and the Marxists are still on the march?
That's a fantastic question. I hope this is not a one-off thing. I've been concerned about free speech and expression for years, as have a lot of folks. The Heterodox Academy, that's the thing that you mentioned with John Haidt. There are over 3,000 of us who are working on this. My sense is that we're close to a tipping point. It may not be me. It may be the next case or two. But enough people are paying attention to this. And I would say evidence for that is that I'm receiving 200 to 300 emails a day still from supporters around the country. I'm being contacted by boards of trustees. People are paying attention. People are knowing. You talk about the Mueller report. I think there's a lot of crazy stuff in the political world right now that is, distracting some attention from, what's going on in higher ed right now. But I have a hunch and a sense that things are beginning to shift. It may not happen with my case. I think it will happen soon. I think there's a large silent majority out there of students who are fed up with this. Students want to have the ability to ask questions. They want to be able to push. They want to be able to study. They don't want to walk on eggshells in their dormitories all the time. They may not want to talk about identity politics 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They may just want to learn, and they may want the freedom to do that. And, my sense from what I'm hearing from students around the country is, okay, we value people. Sure, who doesn't? But at the same time, we may be going too far. I'm hopeful.
It's interesting you point to hopefulness with respect to students, not that they're young adults, but not the academics, not the administrators, that it's going to be students that are going to change the culture on campus, not the adults who've ceded control of the campus to the students.
Sadly, I feel that that's the case. The faculty and administrators have dug in harder and harder on this. And there are, again, a few bright spots of faculty and administrators around the country, but, their jobs are at stake, their futures are at stake. A lot of what they write about is at stake. And it's hard to just say, you know what, I'm going to move on or shift. So I think that you're actually going to see students do this. Students have been the catalyst for this sort of change for years. We've seen it in the 60s. We saw it again in the 80s during the Reagan Revolution. There's no reason we couldn't see it again now, and I'm hopeful. Again, one thing that a lot of students are concerned about, and I wrote about this last week in Minding the Campus, was that they are afraid of what happens when the mob comes for them. But again, the mob may not be there all the time, and enough students may begin to get fed up and say, enough is enough. And again, I'm hopeful.
Now, how did the students, what's your relationship like them in class? Do they still have a list of demands or?
Yeah, are you providing detergent?
Yeah, what about that fabric softener?
So unfortunately, it's not great. In my prior years, I had won teaching awards. I had wonderful relationships with students. I think a lot of those have soured. I guess taking students to see Hamilton or To Kill a Mockingbird on Broadway is considered propaganda and not a good thing to do. But I'm going to keep working because what they want more than anything is for me to just disappear, and I can't let that happen.
Good for you.
There's a piece in Quillette.com by Stephen Blackwood, who's a theologian and founding president of Ralston College, and it's about Jordan Peterson having his request for a visiting fellowship at Cambridge rescinded. It was offered, then it was rescinded, right? Peterson, who has been a professor at Harvard as well as the University of Toronto before he rose to sort of international stardom. And it's just this sentence that Mr. Blackwood writes, I wanted to get your reaction to decrying what Cambridge has done and why they've done it. He says here, with what's going on in higher ed, what is at stake are the conditions of human flourishing itself. There can be no peace, no freedom, no protection of the weak and vulnerable, no pursuit of happiness, no discovery, no science or art. In short, there can be no higher human culture at all without access to the realm of higher things, of truth, beauty, goodness, in which we all by nature can come to dwell, what indeed would be more restorative for our culture in this volatile historical moment than finding ways to reimagine ourselves together on a journey in the wilderness, but seeking the promised land.
He's completely right, and that was beautifully written, far more eloquent than I could put it. Yes, and not allowing individuals like Peterson to do their jobs and to try to stop me from doing my job, not very good for higher ed, not good for the, I don't want to say it's good for humanity necessarily, my work, but, thinking, questioning, and being able to push boundaries is why a lot of us enter academia. Remember, it's not for income. I mean, we're not paid very well. We love the idea of thinking about ideas, and that really is what drives us. Questioning, challenging, and that's why we do it. So, professors fought for years to promote academic freedom and to have tenure, and that gives you those protections. What's very, very disappointing is how many people, at least at Sarah Lawrence, decided that actually tenure protections and free speech are not that important to them. Historically, Sarah Lawrence has been a bastion for free speech. It stood up against a lot of folks during the McCarthy era. I was hoping they would do that again. They could have taken the lead on this. Sadly, they chose not to.
I wonder, we've had 8 years of Rahm Emanuel prattling on about Chicago values. I'd love to get his response to this, whether what's happening at his alma mater is consistent with whatever he thinks Chicago values and his values are. But you sound too young.
I would love to hear that.
I'm sure you would.
Love to hear that.
You sound too young to have had him as a student, though.
No, I'm way too young. He actually graduated, I think, while I was in high school still. But he
Sorry
came back
you
to
missed
Sarah
out.
Lawrence at some point.
Is his picture still up in the main office?
No, hasn't been there for quite a while.
They haven't, no statue on campus of him yet?
No, but, I hear he has some means, so if you'd like to make a donation to the school, I would certainly appreciate that. And if he hears this, I think the school could use it. So that would be very helpful.
All right, we'll pass the word. Sam Abrams, professor of politics at Sarah Lawrence College, visiting scholar at the American Enterprise Institute. Thanks for joining us. Good luck on campus.
Thank you so much for your interest.
Take care.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
When you hire a new employee, do you really know who you're hiring? What if you could do thorough research on potential employees and avoid future HR conflicts and trouble? It may sound like a daunting task, but with ETS Intelligence LLC, it's easy to get all the info on a potential hire. ETS is one of the leading private detective and security agencies in the U.S. Their client roster includes major law firms, insurance companies, high net worth individuals, and more. Our world can be a dangerous place to live and do business in. ETS Intelligence makes you safe by specializing in complex and high-tech investigations, background checks, computer forensics, surveillance, forensic accounting, and more. Let ETS Intelligence be the vetting intelligence agency for your company or business. They also provide personal security services. ETS Intelligence LLC, owned and operated by experienced active-duty law enforcement. Call toll-free 800-230-7429. 800-230-7429.
It's going to rain today, on and off throughout the day. And is your basement going to get wet? And is that acceptable? Well, it shouldn't be, because you don't want water in your bedroom or in your kitchen or in your living room. Then don't wait another day. Call Permaseal right now. 800-421-SEAL, 800-421-7325, or go to permaseal.net. They've been around for 40 years, and they believe your basement should be dry no matter how hard it rains. That's right. You can have a permanently dry basement. Just give them a call, 800-421-SEAL. They offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value. Roy Spencer started Permaseal back in 1979, and guess what? It's still a local Chicagoland family-owned business doing the right thing and standing behind their work. Set up an appointment today, 800-421-SEAL, S-E-A-L, or go to permaseal.net.
My husband was incredibly sick. We had kids already, and I just started a new job. A new baby did not fit into our life. I didn't know what to do, so I took the abortion pill.
Every day in the U.S., nearly 1,000 women make the choice to end their pregnancy through chemical abortion, the abortion pill. Many of these women immediately regret that choice.
As soon as I took the abortion pill, I knew I made a mistake. I needed to find a way to fix it.
For every $75 we raise, a woman gets a second chance at choice, and her baby gets a second chance at life through the Abortion Pill Rescue Network. For just $75, you can provide this life-saving medical solution to thousands of women that call us every month. Go to hbi.life and save a woman and her baby from abortion. That's hbi.life.
Balance of Nature, 10 servings of 31 different fruits and vegetables, all in a single capsule, because you know you're not getting enough fruits and veggies. Trust me, you're getting those fruits and veggies through the fast food drive-through lane? No. So go to balanceofnature.com, type Chicago in that promo code, and lock yourself in for a year of fruits and veggies. That's what you can do if the price is going up. And a way to secure a low price is to go to balanceofnature.com, type Chicago in the promo code to get a year of Balance of Nature and free shipping on every order. But you've got to use the promo code Chicago or call 800-246-8751, 800-246-8751.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real. It happens every day. You can recover. Discover hope and help.
Never give up on yourself.
Join the Voices for Recovery. For confidential information for mental and substance use disorders, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Bob Aument, a founding partner of the law firm of Dassman and Aument and longtime personal customer of Signature Bank. Our firm recently left one of the larger banks to bank with Signature Bank, and it's been a refreshing change. With Signature Bank, we've been able to tailor banking solutions that fit the specific needs of our firm. Beyond that, Signature Bank is responsive, efficient, and timely in meeting those needs. If I have a request, I pick up the phone and talk to Mick O'Rourke, not someone at a phone bank thousands of miles away. Dassman and Aument needed more than what the larger banks offer, and we found that with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, all right, I've got two gentlemen I'm going to nominate for a Darwin Award this year. You ready for this story?
Okay.
Comes to us from Rogers, Arkansas. Let's get the appropriate music here. There it is.
Let it breathe.
Charles Eugene Ferris, age 50, was on his back deck drinking with his neighbor, Christopher Hicks, age 36. Of course they were drinking.
Of course, what else do you want to do in Rogers, Arkansas?
Wait till you see this. Ferris was wearing a bulletproof vest, told Hicks to shoot him with the vest on.
Oh. Come on, do it. I dare you to. Shoot me right here.
Don't miss. Hicks shot Ferris in the chest one time with a .22 semi-automatic rifle.
Oh, that's spectacular. What happened?
The bullet hit him in the top left corner of the chest. The vest did stop the bullet. So it's a great mythbuster there.
Yeah, but did he fall down and go boom?
Yeah, it hurt him and it left him with a red mark on his chest. So that upset him.
So then what happened?
So then Hicks put on the bulletproof vest because it's your turn. And he unloaded the entire clip into Hicks' back. None of the rounds penetrated the vest, so the vest worked again.
Oh, now you can't use it again.
But Hicks did suffer bruises. Ferris went to the hospital.
Oh, my gosh.
And the hospital notified law enforcement, and he tried to cover the story, but they weren't buying it. So he finally copped to the sheriffs about what had happened and how they shot each other with bulletproof vests on. Both were arrested on suspicion of aggravated assault. Can you...
Just let the dodo birds go.
I don't know. Is it green to it? Still aggravated assault? But anyway, look for Hicks and Ferris on the roster of Darwin Award nominees this coming year.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Why time flies. Time feels like it's flying when you age. A mechanical engineering professor from Duke tells us at 8:08.
But first, here's Mike Scott.
Lightfoot and Preckwinko come together. Several Chicago aldermanic races still undecided.
Democrats are fighting to keep the witch hunt alive. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what President Trump just tweeted, adding it would be better to investigate how what he called the ridiculous and illegal collusion delusion got started. He may be reacting to a report that some in the special counsel's office believe the attorney general may have given a rosy summary of Mueller's findings, creating a narrative friendly to the president.
Here's the New York Times quote. The officials and others interviewed declined to flesh out why some of the special counsel's investigators viewed their findings as potentially more damaging for the president than Mr. Barr explained, although the report is believed to examine Mr. Trump's efforts to thwart the investigation.
Fox's Leland Vittert. The House Judiciary Committee yesterday voted to issue a subpoena to get the full Mueller report. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders just told Fox.
Democrats continue to show day in and day out that they're nothing but sore losers.
Now, she was also asked about the new attempt to get the president's tax return. Sanders responded, those remain under audit, so the president
doesn't have any intention to release those returns.
But this attempt by the Democrat chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee cites IRS law that gives him the power to request any filer's tax returns, and it says the Treasury shall hand them over. We're getting more information on last month's deadly crash involving a Boeing 737 MAX 8 jet, which has all those planes grounded worldwide. Fox's Simon Owen monitoring live from London.
Dave, Ethiopian investigators urging Boeing to review its flight control technology. The country's Transport Minister, Dagmawit Moges, announcing the findings of a preliminary report on the crash, saying the crew followed Boeing's emergency instructions, but still couldn't control the plane.
The major objective of this investigation is to make sure that
there is safety in the aviation sector.
The report describing how the plane repeatedly nosedived. Boeing says it will study the findings before commenting. Dave?
This is Fox News.
Cloudy skies. We've had some light rain showers. 44 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Here are the stories we are following this morning on WIND Chicago. DNA testing continues, trying to determine whether a boy found in Newport, Kentucky, may be a suburban Aurora boy who went missing in 2011. The 14-year-old was picked up yesterday after asking passers-by for help. Federal and local investigators near Cincinnati say the teen claims to be Timothy Pitson, who vanished in 2011. The teen identified himself as Pitson, who disappeared nearly 8 years ago after his mother apparently committed suicide in Rockford after a trip to the Wisconsin Dells. Several police chiefs in Cook County plan to announce later today they have no confidence in State's Attorney Kim Foxx. Law enforcement leaders claim Foxx has bungled a number of felony cases. This comes in the wake of her controversial decision to drop charges against Jesse Smollett. Police chiefs are trying to justify their resistance to prioritizing resources to increase public safety and reduce harm, according to Fox's office. Outgoing Chicago Alderman Ricardo Munoz is accused of taking thousands of dollars from the City Council's Progressive Reform Caucus for his own personal use. And several Chicago aldermanic races are still undecided, including those in the 33rd Ward, the 5th Ward, and the 46th Ward. White Sox fans will have to wait an extra day for the home opener. Club moving the game from today to tomorrow because of weather concerns. Sox beat the Indians 8-3 in Cleveland. Braves over the Cubs 6-4. Blackhawks beat the Blues 4-3. And the Bulls were winners over the Wizards. It's 8:04. Time for a dry basement and a healthy home. It's time to call Permaseal. 800-421-SEAL. At 8:04, it's time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Carlos Ghosn, the former head of Nissan, has been arrested again in Japan. Ghosn was out on bail, living in a Tokyo apartment, waiting for trial on charges of financial misconduct. Now he's been rearrested on new charges, accusing him of abusing his position at Nissan for personal gain. Sears is about to open the first of its smaller home and life stores. The new locations will sell appliances, mattresses, and home services. They'll be in addition to Sears' remaining 425 stores. The stores will have kiosks that will let you order items online and in stores to be delivered to your home. Verizon Communications just launched its first state-of-the-art mobile 5G network, but Barron's Magazine says it's a very small rollout. Only a small group of Verizon wireless subscribers in Minneapolis and Chicago will have access, and they'll have to use a special phone. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
Respectfully, if you can pull your head out of your Trump love right now.
The Joe Walsh Show.
The President of the United States should not be attacking a dead man. There's just got to be a certain level of decency that we expect from our president. If you want Trump to win in 2020, this kind of crap is going to kill it.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights, starting at 5, right before Larry Elder at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
As the weather gets warmer and you go outside in the yard, look up. How's that chimney doing? It probably got a good workout this past winter while it was keeping you toasty during those rough months of extreme cold. Or maybe you didn't use it at all because you were worried it hadn't been checked out in a few years and maybe a safety hazard. Well, this would be a good time to call Fireplace and Chimney Authority and get a checkup. You still have a few cool evenings left to enjoy your fireplace before the summer heat arrives. Fireplace and Chimney Authority do masonry and all chimney repairs. Their certified technicians will make sure your chimney is in good condition, so you don't have to worry about any potential hazards. For a limited time, get $100 off any masonry or relining work over $750. Call Fireplace and Chimney Authority for an inspection at 630-279-8500, 630-279-8500, and visit their beautiful showrooms in Lisle and Elmhurst to see a great selection of fireplaces, gas logs, and grills.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I shopped the many highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $27 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-597-0315. That's 800-597-0315. 800-597-0315. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
8:07. Let's get a check on your morning ride to work. We do that in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Telemonte.
Northbound 53, traffic is slow. Kirchhoff to Euclid. The crash in the left lane. Southbound, it's jammed. Rand Kirchhoff. The northbound Veterans Memorial has big delays today. I-55 much of the way to St. Charles and North Avenue 290. Northbound Tri-State at Savvy. Southwest Highway to the Hinsdale Oasis. The Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. Reagan Tollway from Fox River to Eola. 53 to 355 and Myers to Roosevelt. Eden's 30 minutes like Cook to Montrose Kennedy. Hour and 16 minutes O'Hare to downtown, much quicker in the Express. Eisenhower an hour and 3 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson an hour and 3 minutes, 355 to the drive. The Ryan 37 minutes, 95th to downtown. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, cloudy, breezy, and cooler with occasional rain, high 45. A bit of rain this evening, otherwise cloudy tonight, low 40. Clouds tomorrow morning, a milder day, some sun for the afternoon. High tomorrow, 60. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Gray skies, light rain, a bit of fog reported at some reporting stations this morning. 42 at O'Hare, 40 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Misty watercolor memory.
Are we even allowed to play Barbra Streisand music anymore after what she said about Michael Jackson's victims?
Oh, yeah, that they liked it?
Ugh.
Ew, gross.
Turn that off.
I can't play Michael Jackson music either. I deleted his songs from my iTunes.
You think of your childhood memories. Days that would go on forever. You and Julio down by the schoolyard.
No clocks. So you just came in when the sun was setting. That's when you knew it was time to eat dinner.
You,
No
your
cell phones.
9, 10 prom nights that just seem to go on and on forever, one leading to the other.
All in a light blue dress.
All a lie. Dirty lies. All of them. These ideas of childhood memories being more meaningful, and so as you age, you recall them and you wonder, where did the time go? Lies. Now it's time to have all of those wonderful memories.
What about your memories?
Discounted by science. Oh,
Your memories
science rearing its ugly head again.
Of your cat Angel, you put a leash on it and tied it to a tree. Remember? So it could be outside in the summertime?
Right, when I
Or
had
you
to
guys
bury
played
him in the
500,
backyard.
And then you buried him. Did you put him in a sack before you buried him? And now that, maybe you really didn't even bury him, right?
Angel? Angel, is that you? Yeah.
Angel.
Duke engineering professor. Leave it to the engineering professors. And Duke, fresh off their loss to Michigan State, has a book, The Physics of Life, The Evolution of Everything. And he explains, among other things, why time seemed to fly as we age, even though it's not really. Take all the romance out of life. Why don't you, mechanical engineering professorate? His name is Adrian Bejan, and he joins us now. Professor, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me. I really like your show.
Thank you.
And I have the same memories that the two of you just shared, and that's why I became curious about this phenomenon, which is in every one of us. I hear this from everybody, especially as I'm getting older. And since your show is called The Morning Answer, the answer is that the mind time is not clock time. Clock time is something that's continuous, like the sand pouring down to the bottom of the hourglass. Mind time is not that. It is a sequence of snapshots of perceived changes in the image that strikes the retina, changes. And there's a time, it's like the frames, sequential frames in the tape of a movie, okay? And the snapshots are separated by a time interval, and that time interval is the ratio of the length traveled by the signal from retina to brain. That's a dimension, a length, divided by the speed of that flow. And, well, with age, the length increases because the body grows, and the speed decreases because of all sorts of factors, degradation, rupture, and also the movement of the eyes, called saccade, is slowing down, because that's what happens to all movement in bigger bodies. The bigger the body, the less frequent the movement. And so that ratio, which is the interval between snapshots or time changes, is increasing with age. And this is why at the end of the physical time interval, which is the day from sunrise to sunset, that is fixed. During that fixed time interval, the older person receives fewer and fewer of these time clicks into the mind time perception. And so, when the sunset occurs, the older person feels that the day passed him or her by faster. That's the explanation from physics.
Amy, repeat that back to the professor, would you?
Okay. Well, have you ever been to an Alzheimer's ward, Professor? Because when the sun goes down, it's awful. Because my aunt and uncle had Alzheimer's, and it was every time the sun would go down, people would start panicking that they had to find their moms and their dads in their homes, and it was just the worst time to be there.
Well, okay, I have not been in that situation, but I have been around individuals with dementia. My mother included in this group, and all their talk and discussion was about a long time ago when they were children. Yep. So that's another suggestion that the mind, meaning time, the concept, is something that is personal. Time is personal, and it is quite different as a concept than the time we read about in the book of physics.
As you were saying, so older people are viewing fewer new images in the same amount of time. So that's why time, right? So that's why time is passing them more quickly, quote unquote. But is there any? What you're suggesting is there's no physics explanation for some images being more indelible than others. That's personal.
No, that is another thing about human perception of the surroundings. I'm glad you bring it up. The human mind prefers images that are clear or easy to grasp, and those images tend to have a particular shape. the shape of your credit card and business card and the flag of the United States or the computer screen. That shape is adopted or preferred by people unwittingly because it is perceived the fastest. Now, all animals with two eyes, they don't talk back at you, but they prefer this shape in order to understand danger and get out of the way faster and find food and shelter and mate and all the other useful things for life. So this is another phenomenon of the same rank as the so-called mind time, things that happen in us, in our mind, because that is the way we have evolved. This is the way we are constructed in an evolutionary manner for our own good, you see. And by the way, an engineer would ask, well, what is this discovery good for? It is good for teaching yourself and also the people around you what to do or what you can do in order to slow down the speed of this time, the mind time. And the answer is, well, beautify your field of vision with changes that occur more frequently, meaning stop doing routine things.
Leave Chicago.
Do things. Yes. Well, for example, for me, talking to you this morning is something unusual. This is very good for slowing my day down, you see. Do new things. Do unexpected things. Don't do crazy things, but
mix it up.
Yourself.
Yeah, mix it up.
Exactly.
Mix it up. Variety being the spice of life and all that. So Bruce Springsteen is wrong. The glory days do not have to pass you by.
By the way, athletes know this solution probably by training or most likely by talent. Athletes, a good player, surprises you with unexpected moves, and that is beauty in the eyes of the teammate and horror in the eyes of the opponent.
All right.
And by the way, it's fantastic for the spectator too. So stop being a bore is the solution to basically lengthening your life in the eyes of your mind.
Stopping a bore is the way to. I like that. That's simple. That's easy. That's a way to distinguish or to distill the physics down to something that everyday people can actually utilize. That's great. Now, since we're on the topic of physics explaining life and taking all the romance out of everything, can you explain to me why I feel like my parents never loved me? Is there a physics explanation for that? I'm kidding. He is Professor Adrian Bejan. He is the J.A. Jones Distinguished Professor of Mechanical Engineering at Duke. He's also the author of the book, The Physics of Life, The Evolution of Everything. Professor, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Take care.
All right, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Improving your home? Why not make it easy? Don't miss the free Home and Garden Show this weekend only at the Players Sports Center in Naperville. With free admission and free parking. Find the ultimate in savings and convenience with thousands of the latest home products and services for the freshest ideas to remodel, repair, and beautify your home inside and out. This year's show is larger than ever, featuring experts in kitchen and baths, windows and siding, landscaping, lawn and tree care, flooring, painting, heating and air, and even solar power and green energy systems. Plus, enjoy the live cooking shows, free seminars and exciting demonstrations, and save big on quality indoor and outdoor furniture and accessories, and so much more. From interiors to exteriors, from decor to outdoor, you'll find it all at the Home and Garden Show this weekend at the Players Sports Center on Quincy Avenue just off Ogden in Naperville, with free admission and free parking. For details, visit foxvalleyhomeshow.com. That's foxvalleyhomeshow.com.
I was tempted to ask the professor if he's ever heard of Professor John Nerdlebaum Frink. But I thought,
maybe.
Anyway, but he's one of I love those sort of like avuncular, eccentric engineering professors that are too smart for their own good. They're just kind of rumpled and weird. But
sorry I'm late.
Like
There's
that.
trouble at the lab with the running and the exploding and the crying. One of the monkeys stole the glasses off my head.
That guy was great, though. I wish I would have had Professor Bejan in college.
Yeah. Hey, one of the most frustrating aspects of running a business today is dealing with technology. It's wonderful when it all works, but what about when it's not? IT, networks, computers. You just want to run your business. And hiring an IT department is out of the question. Or is it? Dun, dun, dun. For only $795 a month, you can eliminate the hassle of IT and computer issues with Turnkey IT. It'll be like having your own in-house IT department, but better. Turnkey IT makes it happen. They make it secure. They make it smart. You'll be set up for success and not have to deal with all the technical issues that really can overwhelm a business. Turnkey becomes your IT department and will help with all your daily IT issues. Plus, they'll set up preventative steps to keep your business going. Have Turnkey do a complimentary network audit of your systems, even if you do have a current IT guy, so that you know where you stand with technology. Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Turnkey.pro, that's turnkey.pro.
Law, liberty, justice. This is Law and Justice with Jay Sekulow.
I was just wondering if there had been any evidence presented concerning the deep relationship that an unborn child has with family members such as myself. My wife's pregnant right now, and I was just wondering if there was any evidence that's been presented to that effect.
Well, Keith, actually there has been. We did have extensive evidence on this, and that is the cognitive reasoning abilities of a child in utero, and that after 24 weeks, the evidence was very clear. We took the position in our brief that you now are allowing the abortion laws to creep over into live births, and that's a very, very dangerous precipice to cross, and that appears to be what a lot of the advocates for National Abortion Rights Action League and others are advocating here.
Stay informed, get involved, and make a difference. Visit the American Center for Law and Justice at aclj.org. That's aclj.org.
Just do it already. Get your bottles of Balance of Nature. The price of fruits and veggies is going up. You've heard it here. So what we want you to do is lock in your price for the fruits and vegetables for an entire year and get free shipping on every order. How do I do that? Well, go to balanceofnature.com, promo code Chicago. That's the only way to do it. Balanceofnature.com, promo code Chicago. It's really important. You'll get 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies all in a single capsule. No preservatives, no dyes. It helps with inflammation. It helps with pain. It helps get you healthy because you're getting the fruits and veggies that you need. Balanceofnature.com, promo code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, perfect segue, talking to the mechanical engineering professor from Duke, for Amy to take the 11-question science test. Science knowledge quiz presented by the Pew Research Center. I have taken it.
Oh, and how did you fare?
I got 11 out of 11. Now, the average score for women is 54%.
See,
we just want you to be above average. That's not too much to ask.
I really don't want to do
You're
this.
going to do it. You're going to do it.
Surprise pop-up quizzes on the radio. Never fair to your radio partner.
I know you're not used to that, going to Hershey or University of Iowa, being tested on knowledge, but this is every man's scientific knowledge. This is not complicated. All right, let me give you an example. Oil, natural gas, and coal are examples of, it's even multiple choice. They're examples of geothermal resources, biofuels, fossil fuels, renewable resources.
Fossil fuels.
That's correct.
All right, can we stop now?
No.
Oh, look at the time. Don't we have to go?
A scientist is conducting a study to determine how well a new medication treats ear infections. The scientist tells the participants to put 10 drops in their infected ear each day. After 2 weeks, all participants' ear infections had healed. So 10 participants all took the ear medication. Got it?
Right, and they all were healed. Yes.
Right. Which of the following changes to the design of this study would most improve the ability to test if the new medication effectively treats ear infections? Multiple choice. New participants put eardrops in both their infected ear and healthy ear. B, create a second group of participants with ear infections who do not use any eardrops. C, create a second group of participants with ear infections who use 15 drops a day rather than 10. Or D, have participants use eardrops for only 1 week.
I'm going to go with C.
Create a second group of participants with ear infections who use more drops, 15 drops a day rather than 10.
No, that's bad. B.
The control group, exactly. Correct. You're 2 for 2. Which of the following is an example?
Stop
No. Oh, no. You're having too much
I'm
fun.
getting squirmy. I don't like this.
Which of the following science causes a scientific reaction in you? Which of the following is an example of genetic engineering?
Oh, God, please. Can we skip?
Attaching the root of one type of plant to the stem of another type of plant. Growing a whole plant from a single cell. Inserting a gene into plants that makes them resistant to insects. Finding the sequences of bases in plant DNA.
B.
B is correct. Growing a whole plant from a single cell. There you go. Look at this. You're killing it. What is the main cause of seasons on the Earth? The distance between the Earth and Sun. B, the speed the Earth rotates around the Sun. C, the tilt of the Earth's axis in relation to the Sun. D, changes in the amount of energy coming from the Sun.
C.
The tilt of the Earth's axis. Correct. Look at you. You're going to be a Duke mechanical engineering professor before you know it.
All right, go on.
All right, we have to skip this one because it's visual. I kind of want to describe it, so we're going to give that one to you.
Thank you.
The time a computer takes to start has increased dramatically.
Well, not in my house, but okay.
Well, sure. In
I think
general,
it takes me so long to blog. I'm waiting. It's thinking.
one possible explanation for this is that the computer is running out of memory. This explanation is a scientific what? A, observation, B, hypothesis, C, experiment, D, conclusion.
I'd say B, a hypothesis.
Correct. Look at this. Many diseases have an incubation period. Which of the following best describes what an incubation period is? The period during which someone has an infection but not showing symptoms. The period during which someone builds up an immunity to a disease, B. The recovery period after being sick, C. Or D, the effect of disease on babies.
I'm going to go with A.
A is correct. All right. I mean, you're almost, throwing a no-no here. When large areas of forest are removed so land can be converted to other uses such as farming, which of the following occurs? Large areas of forest removed, land converted to other uses such as farming. Which of the following occurs? A, decreased carbon dioxide. B, greater oxygen production. C, colder temperature. D, increased erosion.
A.
No.
D.
D is right. All right, we're going to give you a mulligan. All right, you're still perfect. An antacid relieves an overly acidic stomach because the main components of antacids are bases, A, neutral, B, C, isotopes, D, acids.
Repeat the answers.
An antacid relieves an overly acidic stomach because the main components of antacids are A, bases, B, neutral, C, isotopes, D, acids.
I'm going to go with B.
Neutral? All right, you already used your mulligan. It's B base. It's A bases, excuse me.
What was that answer for A again?
Bases.
Bases?
Yeah, because it's acid. Yeah.
So
Yin
what am
and
I
yang.
now? What's my
You're voluminous 1, according to my generous grading. Which of these is a major concern about the overuse of antibiotics? It can lead to antibiotic-resistant bacteria.
Yes.
That's correct.
Yes.
Boy, look at that.
So I don't take antibiotics.
All right.
Or I
there you
don't
go.
let my children unless it's really necessary.
Now, the last one involves a little bit of math. It's science
no.
and math.
Can I use a calculator?
You can phone a friend. Mike Scott's right there.
Okay, Mike, pay attention.
All right.
We're doing this together. In juntos. Together.
Can't do math.
Here we go.
A car travels at a constant speed of 40 miles per hour. I know these damn cars and how fast they're going. A car travels at a constant speed of 40 miles per hour. How far does the car travel in 45 minutes?
Is there A, B, C, D?
No. Yes, there is.
Anybody?
25, 30, 35, or 40. 40 miles an hour. How far does the car go in 45 minutes?
How many? What?
This is like grade school arithmetic.
Wait, what's the Mike?
I see.
I'm going to let you struggle.
Wait,
I got it.
25, 30, 35, or 40.
Because you know
35.
this.
35.
Mike, you break the bad news to her.
I'm right.
The answer is 30.
30.
Yeah. Are you male or female? All right, we're going to give you credit for that one. We'll add that to your score. What's your age? You're going to lie about that, so that cancels the
29.
gender. Yeah,
29.
right. So you lied about that.
Okay.
A high level of education? I can't really. Does Iowa count for college?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Junior college.
No, A.
The amazing thing is you are.
What did I get?
The average score for women, 54%. So that's 6. The average score for whites, 7.6 correct, 69%. Men, 67%. right. You are above all of that. You technically 9 out of 11. So I don't know which is more frightening, that you got 9 out of 11 or these average scores for men and women in America on basic.
I've still got it.
Basic grade school scientific facts and a little bit of a word problem. All right, but that was fun, wasn't it?
Thank you.
I want to
learned a lot. I'm sure listeners did too.
I want you to, have a newfound love for science and math.
Yeah, things are looking
We
up.
need people like you in the STEM disciplines.
Go back to CPS.
And to help Peyton and Eli with their homework.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
All right, we're going to switch gears, talk a little border security policy, whether we should decriminalize illegal immigration and fund Central American countries with a makeshift Marshall Plan. We'll talk to Steve Cortez, CNN political commentator at 8:38.
And wait. You've been married for how long? We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Long time. Married a long time, and I love it. 44 degrees outside. Gray skies and some light rain showers crossing the area. DNA testing being conducted. They're trying to determine this morning whether a boy found in Newport, Kentucky, is actually a suburban Aurora boy who went missing in 2011 before escaping kidnappers in Ohio. Federal and local investigators, including the FBI, say the team claims to be Timothy Pitson, who vanished in 2011. This morning, pilots of the Ethiopian Airlines crash say they followed procedures recommended by Boeing before crashing in that 737 MAX jetliner, killing all 157 on board. Ethiopia's transport minister telling reporters this morning the crew repeatedly performed all the procedures that were provided by Boeing. Nearly 300 being deported this morning as immigration officials conduct the biggest worksite raid in more than a decade. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement arresting nearly 300 at a cell phone repair center in a Dallas suburb. President Trump unlikely to give in to demands to release 6 years of tax returns. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders explains why.
As the president said yesterday, while his taxes continue to be under audit, he doesn't anticipate that changing at any point anytime soon, and therefore doesn't have any intention to release those returns.
The chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee sent a letter to the IRS this week asking for the president's returns from 2013 to 2018. Several police chiefs in Cook County plan to announce today they have no confidence in State's Attorney Kim Foxx after Fox's office bungled a number of felony cases. The action comes after her office's controversial decision to drop charges against Jesse Smollett. And family and friends are gathering to remember an Illinois state trooper who was killed this past weekend in Lake County. Visitation for Trooper Gerald Ellis begins this afternoon at the College of Lake County. White Sox cruise past the Indians 8-3 in Cleveland. Braves come back for a 6-4 win over the Cubs. Blackhawks beat the Blues, and the Bulls last-second winners over the Wizards. The news, a service of Express Services Incorporated. You work hard, you know what it takes to succeed. Now it's time to put your experience to work and launch your business. For a limited time, Express Employment Professionals will give you $25,000 to open your franchise. Get to know Express. Visit expressfranchising.com today. 8:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher likes to watch the Democrats scramble.
Isn't it fascinating to watch the Democrats flailing? They are literally flailing away right now. Let's lower the voting age to 16. Let's get rid of the Electoral College. Third trimester abortions just A-OK with me, says Beto O'Rourke. I mean, it's one thing after another.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
We've all been there, looking for a parking spot when it's freezing and icy outside. The icy pavement of this pothole-filled parking lot is a nightmare. Oh, there's a spot. Wait, oh no, you're sliding. Watch out for that pothole. your tire just blew out. The kids are crying and you're never coming back here again. Business owners and property managers, avoid frustrating your customers with a less than perfect parking lot. Pavement Solutions can offer you a safer and longer lasting pothole repair with permanent cold mix asphalt. It's an immediate solution, and 90% of potholes patched will never need to be repaired again. Call Pavement Solutions today and learn how they can fix your lot in a day without closing it. In fact, as customers drive over the patch, it gets stronger. Don't put your customers or your business at risk with annoying potholes. Give your customers the experience they deserve. Call Pavement Solutions for a free quote. 815-675-0696. 815-675-0696.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
As a business owner, you have hundreds of decisions to make on a daily basis. It's beyond needing to pay bills, keeping employees happy, or what the next step is to grow your business. Part of your stress can be making sure you're protected in a time of crisis. Can you trust that your insurance provider is going to be there when you need them most? When you're looking for a partner who's there for you in your most desperate times, call Insure with Us. You won't have to wait on hold to talk to an agent who's unfamiliar with your policy. Speak directly to who wrote your policy when you have any urgent question or need. Don't hesitate. Get it done today. Get a free quote in less than 24 hours at lowcostinsurance.biz. Choose from dozens of top insurers across the U.S. Insure with Us focuses on finding you the best coverage for your business and for your family. Visit them today at lowcostinsurance.biz. Insure with Us. Coverage for the things that matter most. Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
8:38. And a check of the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Traffic is brutal. The Indiana Toll Road westbound has a jam from Kennedy Avenue to West Point Toll Plaza due to construction. 53 is messy. Southbound Rand to Kirchhoff. Northbound from the Adams Tollway to Palatine Road. 8 and 30 minutes like Cook to Montrose. Outbound 40. Kennedy, an hour and 16 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 45 minutes from Montrose. 30 in the Express. The Eisenhower's an hour and 5 minutes. 390 to downtown. 50 minutes from Manheim. Stevenson, an hour and 3 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 37 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 32 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishopport, 35. Southbound Lakeshore Drive is heavy. Lawrence to North Avenue. The tollways are messy. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
The weather's messy. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Cloudy, breezy, cooler, with occasional rain and a high near 45. We've already reached our high temperature for the day, and temperatures are falling right now. 42 at O'Hare and 40 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. There's a lot of comparisons being made that AOC and Omar and Tlaib, they represent on the left what the Tea Party represented on the right. They call themselves the Justice Democrats. They're, of course, just, rank and file, standard issue socialists. But you want to understand the difference between the Justice Democrats and the Tea Party? The difference between the two. AOC was on MSNBC spewing acronyms and also explaining the difference.
People say Tea Party of the left, and I find this phrase very interesting, this phrasing very interesting, because the grounding of the Tea Party was xenophobia, the underpinnings of white supremacy.
Oh, sure.
But, I understand politically when people say Tea Party of the left, because I am a progressive Democrat that that won in a primary election and ousted the fourth most powerful person in the Democratic Party. I understand why people would say Tea Party of the left. The exception is that my district is overwhelmingly progressive, and our representative was not representing our actual position. So this is not a Tea Party of the left. This is a return to American representative democracy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
She hit it on the head there.
Yeah. There's some districts that are batshit crazy, is what she's trying to say. True.
Here's a really big
difference. The Koch brothers funded the Tea Party, and everyday people funded my campaign.
Go, girl.
Everyday
and her brother
people.
Fighter.
I was involved and supported, worked with Tea Party groups in Illinois. And I got to tell you, I'm pretty positive that no Koch money flowed into their coffers. Grassroots organizations that didn't have coffers. But okay, sure. Another example of Justice Democrat is one of the fungible socialists for president, Julian Castro. He is former mayor of San Antonio, HUD secretary under Obama, sort of like he is to Obama what Henry Cisneros was to Bill Clinton, and hopefully he'll be indicted soon on something as well. Julian Castro talking about how we handle the humanitarian and security crisis on the border. You know how you do it? You make illegal crossings not illegal.
I'm not buying into the BS that basically says that little children and mothers who are desperate and fleeing desperate circumstances are a national security threat to our nation. I said that we should decriminalize people who are coming here, crossing the border.
Currently, under Section...
Yeah, and so there you go. Decriminalize illegal crossings. We've heard from others, and we know what Obrador wants, the Mexican president. AMLO, as he's known. He wants a Marshall Plan for southern Mexico and Central America. So he's working with socialist Democrats like Ocasio-Cortez, like Julian Castro, to get more money out of U.S. coffers, while President Trump is sending a message to those same Central American countries that he doesn't appreciate their inability to stem the tide of migrants by cutting off funding, and even talking about cutting off the border temporarily. And so the impasse that we have. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Steve Cortez, CNN political commentator and former head of Trump's Hispanic Advisory Council. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Thanks for having me.
So what about that? The way you deal with the illegals is you just make them legal.
Right. And by the way, thankfully, Julian Castro, although he's a presidential candidate, at least he doesn't have any current power, to actually inflict this ridiculous view upon America. But you know who does is Xavier Becerra, who's the current Attorney General of California, and he made the exact same statement yesterday. He said we need to decriminalize illegal immigration, which I guess, I don't know what you then even call it, because I guess you can't call it illegal anymore. But look, the Democrats are I'll at least give them kudos for this. They're finally starting to get honest about what they want, which is open borders. They've been in favor of open borders for a long time. Many of the major presidential candidates have called for eliminating ICE. They have harshly criticized ICE. We had the former CIA director compare ICE enforcement to Auschwitz in a tweet. This has been their position. It's an extremist and really, frankly, hysterical position that the United States should have no control over who comes into our country and that we should have a porous and open border. But it is their position. I think it's important for the American people to see that. And it's particularly pernicious given the current state of the border right now. Our border is teeming with trespassers and illegality. We have an absolute crisis at the border. Even the liberal media can now acknowledge that it's a crisis, thankfully. At least we've gotten to that point. But what is not thankful in any sense is the fact that our Border Patrol, which is the most Hispanic agency of the federal government, by the way, our Border Patrol is dealing with an untenable situation, and our national and economic security simply cannot withstand the idea of 100,000 illegal entries a month, which is what we saw in the month of March.
Well, then, what do you think? There's been a lot of vacillation going on in the Trump administration on whether or not he will permanently shut down the border. Well, not permanently, but shut down the border to send a message to the Mexican government and the president that, hey, you need to do something about your southern border, because the U.S. exports more goods to Mexico than we do to China.
Right.
So what do you
No,
think?
and listen, I can tell you this, Amy, and I've had a lot of conversations, not with the president himself, but with a lot of senior people in the White House. There was really a raging debate within the White House, and there has been really since Trump took office, quite honestly, on immigration. You have a lot of folks who want to take, a softer view of a crackdown on illegal immigration. A lot of them are more in sort of the free trade camp of the Trump White House. And then you have folks more on the Stephen Miller wing who want to take a really harsh look at enforcing immigration. What I would say is this regarding shut down the border. I think it has to be a credible threat. I think that's important. Now, it's a severe penalty because it would exact real costs on both countries, on the U.S. and Mexico. You're right. We have a really robust trade relationship. I think it would be bad for our economy, certainly bad for their economy, bad for financial markets. So I hope it doesn't have to come to that. But I think, unfortunately, AMLO in Mexico has shown so little willingness to negotiate with us and act in good faith that you have to at least hold over them, sort of that most severe threat of actually sealing the border. It has been done before, not since Ronald Reagan, but Reagan did it for several days back in the 1980s. And I think it has to be a realistic threat. But my hope is that they'll respond to less punitive measures. And what we could do, for instance, are trade sanctions. We could start slapping really onerous quotas, for instance, on Mexican imports until they start to comply. But here's, I think, the bigger important reality philosophically. These countries in Latin America, both Central America and Mexico, they are very happy to turn their problems into our problems. And so not only do they allow these caravans to traverse Mexico, which is a giant country, by the way, if these people actually wanted asylum, they would be getting asylum in Mexico where it's available to them. They're economic migrants. They are not refugees fleeing for their lives. That is simply a lie. And because these countries are not only allowing these caravans to operate, but in some cases assisting them, we have to hold them accountable. I mean, look, we've got a great historic relationship with Mexico, but they're not acting like a very good neighbor right now. And unfortunately, we need to have, I think, look, there's carrots and sticks in every international relationship. Right now is time for a lot more stick than carrot when it comes to Mexico.
Interesting story out in Washington Examiner about technology, right? Because it's not just about border barriers, as we've said over and over and over again, but that's all the Democrats want to talk about. U.S. government adopting a DNA testing system that would allow border officials to assess within 2 hours whether immigrants claiming to be in the same family are in fact telling the truth, because, of course, we've incentivized coyotes to put children with adults as a way to get into the country with the catch and release policies that we've pursued, particularly as it pertains to families. The FBI approved the use last June of an automated system developed with the military that can be operated by a non-scientist to process cheek swabs and other DNA. In October, it was used on human remains found after wildfires swept through Northern California. It's now under consideration by DHS and ICE for use in identifying people trying to come to this country and whether they are the family members, whether they are part of the same family as they're claiming to be. 2 hours. It'll be interesting to see the rationale that Democrats come up with to oppose that.
Right. No, and listen, I think that would be a useful tool, but I guess I would also say, Dan, even that is not enough. Here's the point. Our asylum laws.
It's one thing.
And our asylum laws, out of the best of intentions, by the way, right, because we are a generous country and we want to help people who are legitimately fleeing persecution. And what that means is that they are in danger from their government because of their race, ethnicity, gender, political belief. That's asylum. That's what the law is for. If you read it, it's very clear. That is not what's going on with these Central American migrants. These countries are poor places, and they're dangerous places, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, but they are not places of persecution. That's simply not the reality on the ground there. That's why 90% of these people who apply for asylum, we know historically, are not eligible for asylum. So I would argue that our asylum laws are being, on a vast scale, completely manipulated and abused and gamed.
Well, so that prompts this question. Particularly what we know with what AMLO is doing. Even he's saying one thing publicly, he's doing something else very different privately. So is what Tucker Carlson said on his show in a conversation with Secretary of Migration for the state of Guanajuato, Mexico, he said, look, based on what Mexico is doing, they are a hostile nation that is seeking to undermine U.S. sovereignty. Is that a fair characterization of Mexico?
I wouldn't go as far as to call them hostile. I think Tucker I think that's a stretch to call them hostile. But I will say this again, as I said earlier, they're certainly not acting neighborly. They're not acting like a good friend and ally in this case, and they need to be held to account for that. But longer term, we need to change our asylum laws. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Again, we did this out of the best of intentions, but our generosity is being massively abused. Now, that's not going to happen quickly, though. I wrote an article on Real Clear Politics about this. I think the immediate situation is so dire that I think the president needs to issue a second emergency order. We have to stop accepting asylum applications at our southern border temporarily. We have to cease this practice because it is not working. These are not asylum seekers. They live in bad neighborhoods. And listen, I'm not trying to diminish that reality, but you know what? A lot of Americans live in bad neighborhoods.
Yep.
We don't then say anyone in the world who lives in a tough neighborhood, who has crime in their neighborhood, or who lives in a poor place is automatically allowed to come to the United States based on our asylum statutes. That is not what asylum is about, and it makes no practical sense for the United States. I would also add, by the way, my own father fled corruption and violence in Latin America. A lot of U.S. Hispanics are in that category. They themselves or their forefathers fled Latin America because of the problems of Latin America. What we cannot do is bring the problems of Latin America on a wholesale level to the United States. Those people that come here legally, they don't come to the U.S. so that we can then create, a replica of Latin America in the United States. What we have going on right now with the lawlessness at our southern border, unfortunately, there's a danger of that. There's a danger. If we just say anyone can come in, claim asylum, they're then shipped to the interior of the country on U.S. taxpayer money, given cash benefits, and just expected on their own volition to show up for hearings, that's a ludicrous proposition. It could permanently change the economy, the culture, the security of the United States, and it's not fair to anyone. It's particularly not fair to legal immigrants, by the way, who did it the right way.
He is Steve Cortez, CNN political commentator. And Steve, I understand, too, you're working on the slogan for Trump's reelection. He's in the spitballing stage right now, talking about CAG, Keep America Great. I don't think that's good enough. So please continue to work with his comms team to come up with a proper acronym for the reelect.
Will do. Get back to you on it.
All right, Steve Cortez, thanks for joining us.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
In today's turbulent times, professionals from a variety of industries are faced with concerns regarding workplace violence and the harm it can cause to its employees. Workplace violence can manifest in any setting and oftentimes might come without warning. The team at P4 Security Solutions can assist your organization in mitigating risks to prevent you and your employees from becoming a victim.
Hi, I'm Lawrence Doria, President and CEO of P4 Security Solutions. As a lifelong Chicagoan and security expert with over 40 years in the industry, I take pride in providing our clients a variety of security offerings to address your risks and concerns. Our security services deliver customized offerings to address threats while maintaining continuity. P4 Security Solutions, your trusted advisor for uncertain times.
Contact P4 Security Solutions when you require active shooter training, workplace violence programs, off-duty police services, security assessments, personal protection, or any other of our security solutions. Visit our website at p4secure.com or call us at 312-502-1702 for immediate response.
Nobody cares about Kelly Clarkson.
Who's that playing with Kelly Clarkson?
I don't know.
All right. We'll figure it out and let's
Is it
get
Eddie
back to
Vedder?
us.
No.
No, Eddie Vedder, no.
I can't tell. We'll pan up so we could see.
All right.
Oh, she just gave him a kiss on the lips.
Maybe it's her husband. Is she married?
Oh,
Did she finally found a man?
It's her husband. Yeah, and they have a child together.
Oh,
that was her
great.
husband. I don't even know who her husband is.
All right, so
Musically
Hollywood
inclined?
be Kelly Clarkson is happy and Britney Spears is in a mental ward. Got it. We have to talk on this show about how the tide is turning on the issue of life in this country. The moment is coming when Roe v. Wade will be overturned and the issue of abortion is sent back to the states. And that's happening in part because of organizations like Heartbeat International. Heartbeat International is a network of pro-life pregnancy resource centers that includes more than 2,600 pregnancy medical clinics with ultrasound machines, maternity homes, and adoption centers in 62 countries around the world. Right now, you have the opportunity to partner with Heartbeat International to stop an abortion for just $75. Here's how. The Abortion Pill Rescue Network is an effort to help women who have begun the process of a chemical abortion. Often these women immediately change their minds after they've begun the process. And the good news is that if they get connected with the pregnancy center fast enough, the abortion process can be reversed and their baby can be saved. That's what Heartbeat International does. For just $75 per mother and baby, you can make the difference in the life of a mom who wants to make a second choice and save her baby. Just go to hbi.life. That's hbi.life to make a one-time gift of $75 or a monthly gift of $75 for a year to save 12 babies. Help turn the tide on abortion and save a baby today at hbi.life.
This is Dr. Howard, founder and formulator of Balance of Nature. We're changing America one life at a time.
I've probably been on it 2 years now, and it's been, honestly, a godsend. After you're on it for a while, you tend to forget the aches and pains and things that was going on in your body and your life before you started taking Balance of Nature. I get up, I go up and down the stairs, no pain. Hey, you know what? Thank goodness for Balance of Nature.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself by using discount code CHICAGO. The price of fruits and vegetables is going up. Call now to see how you can lock in your price of fruits and vegetables for an entire year and get free shipping on every order. Call 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
It's tax time. Oh, yeah. And if you haven't paid your taxes in years and the IRS is breathing down your neck, you might want to call Stephen Leahy because you might want to pay your taxes. The IRS can come to you at your home or business. They can take your bank account, your money, your wages, even take your passport. So you need to talk to the trusted attorney of AM 560, good friend of ours, Attorney Stephen Leahy. Call him 312-664-6649. Attorney Leahy will solve your IRS problems for good. You can hear his show here. The host of the IRS Radio Hour, every Sunday afternoon at 5. And if you need help, call him now, 312-664-6649, or go to chicagotaxteam.com.
When John Mariotti started Woodland Windows and Doors in 1969, he knew that relationships were important. He knew that he needed to look out for his customers' best interests. Today, Woodland is run by the second and third generation of Mariottis, who continue to build great relationships and to service their customers. Homeowners and builders turn to Woodland Windows and Doors for the individual attention they get on each project. They have a huge selection of replacement windows, skylights, and doors, specialists who know their stuff, and professional installation. Woodland has replacement and new windows, patio entry and scenic doors, and a reputation for bringing customers back for more. Every job is unique. Every job is done right. That's why for 50 years, homeowners have trusted Woodland Windows and Doors with their projects. Woodland Windows and Doors, online at woodlandwindows.com or stop by their showroom on the corner of Lake and Gary in Roselle.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and again, congratulations on Amy for blowing the curve for women in America when it comes to that science quiz put out by Pew Research.
Thank you.
Well done. Well done today. Yeah.
I'm going to have a pop quiz for you tomorrow.
I think Peyton and Eli are going to have newfound respect for Mom.
Are we going to do that horrible story?
Well, save it for
tomorrow.
Yeah. We'll do it in a whole animal stories tomorrow. You can look forward to that.
Yes. Thank you so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to Justin Kosick, our technical producer, and Quinn McCarthy, who is what? Who is he today? Our fashion designer? That's it. That's what he is. He's a fashion designer. We're back here bright and early tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now let's head straight into the newsroom for news here at home and around the world. Here is Mike Scott.
We'll have the latest, and Fox will as well, on police and the FBI investigating if a teen found in Kentucky is a missing Aurora boy. Lightfoot and Preckwinkle come together after the election. They say they're unified. A funeral today for a state trooper in Lake County. White Sox moving the home opener because of the terrible weather today. Blackhawks top the Blues in a shootout. WIND Chicago News Time is 9 o'clock.
It's the highest level of presidential harassment